You never did. Wait, that's what they do on Skype. Your call is
Skype
being
and Zoom,
recorded.
yeah.
And Zoom, too.
And Zoom, your call is being recorded.
His call is
Didn't
being
you have a way you were
recorded.
going to start this?
Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Vacant Wrestling Podcast. My name is Tyler. Just want to thank y'all real quick for an awesome first week of kind of going hard launch on uploading video content. It's been a lot of fun on YouTube Shorts, on YouTube as well. We did a video podcast last week. We're doing another one this week. And this time, I'm joined by these other two clowns. First up, we got Emil. What's going on? Emil, the producer. How we doing, man?
Yo, bro.
Next up, we got our boy, Yusuf, our Bullet Club aficionado. What's up,
Where?
dude?
Where? Oh,
Where is
okay.
Bullet Club? Where is
Where are
Bullet
they?
Club?
Where are
They were name dropped this week. They were
They
name
were.
dropped this week. Don't
They
forget
were.
it. Don't forget
And
it. And
Bullet
y'all,
Club.
we had a badass pay-per-view this weekend. Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland. The end was kind of interesting. It was definitely a choice.
Let's start there. The ending was the world title match.
It was.
Yep.
It was.
Drew McIntyre.
It was Damian Priest defending
hometown
against
boy.
Hometown Boy. Yeah.
So-
you got some thoughts?
So I missed it. Let's get this out of the way right now. I missed most of it. I missed a lot of this show. I was in and out,
Boo.
and then I did not watch this last match. I did not.
Boo.
I
You
did
suck,
not.
dog.
Boo this man.
But I guess the real story is the closing moments of the match with CM Punk coming in with a referee shirt,
Yep.
not counting the 3. Nobody liked it. Nobody in Scotland liked it. They were booing as the show went off the air. They were booing Samantha Irving at the end.
In Punk's defense, I think he just forgot what number came after 2.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
He went 1, 2, and then stopped. The camera was behind him, and then they cut to the camera that was facing him, and the crowd was getting louder as time went on because they started to realize it was Punk, and then
Yeah.
it was Punk, and he was like, ah ha ha, not today, Drew, and then he kicked Drew in the balls. It was actually hilarious.
Which was a kick in the dick to all of Scotland.
It really was.
Really was. I did not think they were going to get that heated
Yeah.
about that outcome.
Oh, I
It
did.
was
No,
bad.
have y'all seen the videos of them like Samantha had to play damage control so hard to try and
Yeah, and they
I know it
booed the
didn't
crap
go the
out
way
of her,
you wanted.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
Why did she
It
do
didn't
that?
work. Yeah,
Well, because she was probably told to be fair.
She could have
that's
not.
so. The thing is with
She could have
with the
not.
WWE with the WWE in-ring hosts, and Samantha Irvin is included in that because she's a ringside announcer. For house shows, normally they occasionally have to do damage control with talking to the crowd and pandering. But the fact that someone had to do that at the end of a PLE because you pissed off an entire country is
let's be-
not
and,
good.
and
Let's
Wade
be real.
Barrett. And Wade Barrett.
Let's be real. We
Wade Barrett.
knew that wasn't happening.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody saw Drew winning. Let's
No.
be real.
No, I mean,
it's the same. It's the
we
same story.
didn't.
He's not getting his win
So,
in Scotland.
I
think
kinda
we've
wanna
now
interject-
established.
No, and I want to interject with something is that we kind of talked about this already a few weeks ago when we were talking about the fallout from King of the Ring. When Gunther won, we brought this up at that point. The heck's going to happen to Drew? Because Drew's not trapping that thing to Gunther. Is Drew
Yeah.
going to win a Clash of the Castle? At some point, we all kind of agreed, and I think most people in the IWC and everywhere around there kind of accepted that Drew's not winning at Scotland. Even though there was that tiny % chance that they give the hometown boy his flowers and they do all that.
Yeah.
But to have everything happen the way it did, especially with, Punk getting involved, kicking him in the dick and, all that shebang, the shigans, if you will. Man, what
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Why are we mad? We shouldn't be
No,
mad.
we
Nobody
shouldn't
in
be
the
mad.
wrestling, nobody in the IWC should be mad right now. You have no reason to be mad. You thought Drew was going to lose. You want Gunther with this title. You don't want Punk with this title. You don't want Drew with this title. You don't want Damian with this title. Rollins is gone.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, at the end of the day,
AJ's
again,
on the other show with the other belt
yeah,
that no one
but-
cares
but then
about.
I think-
no one cares.
I think
I
that's
don't know
the
why you're
biggest
mad.
problem. I think that's the biggest problem that I have is that the other option, if it's not Drew, is Damian Priest. And while he's been improving with his time with the championship, I think that he's left a lot to be desired. I think his match quality has been phenomenal. I think this was his best match to
This
date
was
as world
great,
champion.
yeah.
But I think that his promo work needs a lot of work. And I think part of it is they tried in the build to this to make him the face in America because they knew that obviously Drew is the heel in America, but knowing they go to Scotland, the roles would be reversed. And Damian, I realized this at the kickoff show for Clash while Damian was booed. Damian's a much better heel than he is a face.
Oh,
And-
100%.
And they're
Always.
trying to book him as a
Yeah,
face,
always has been.
and it's not working.
No. The other problem, too, now with Damian Priest is we don't know how much time he's got with that belt because of the mishap that happened during that match with his ankle.
Yeah.
So
Where I
to
do
bring
want to
people up to
quickly,
speed.
yes, to get you up to speed during
the
the
story
match.
is he got caught in the ropes while attempting, I believe, over the rope suicide dive of some
I
sort.
believe he was going for
And
a
then
saw
Drew
the
was
clip.
like, Drew
And
looked
Drew
and
was
was like, looked at the ref, and then looked and was like, and just
Well, I
started
can't
hitting him.
save him, but
Okay.
I'm gonna hit him.
Yeah.
Good on. Like I got what
No, this
Drew was
is
doing.
this is something I
It
want to
makes
quickly
sense.
mention too. Is something interesting that people were bringing up after the fact was during Cody and AJ. Not even during the match, but just as they were making their entrances, when Cody got into the ring and was talking to the ref actually grabbed the ropes and like tugged him a little bit and told Cody, "Be careful, the ropes are loose."
Really?
Which
I didn't even catch that.
Yes, he told Cody, "The ropes are loose, be careful," which led
Damn.
to not one but two mishaps during the rest of the
Yeah,
show. The other one we'll
Jade
get
too.
to after with Jade, right? And so when everything happened with Damian, a lot of people were like, "Oh, how does that happen?" And then people started putting two and two together, like, "Oh, whoever tightened the ropes that day is getting fired."
Them Scottish ring
But-
boys.
But
Yeah,
that makes, but how though? Like we
right.
for all of us who have been to a live event, which is all of us.
Yeah.
Specifically, I remember at the SmackDown, at the Mania, not at the Mania specifically, well, a lot of ring changes. There was a lot of ring editing. Like
Yep.
they look at that ring pretty much every,
Every-
30 seconds.
every
Any
little
time
detail.
that there's not anyone in it, they're looking at it. So
They swap
like,
the canvas every
how-
segment.
How they managed to miss that, especially if a ref said something that ref has an earpiece. What are we
Right,
doing?
exactly,
Like
yeah.
that
Like-
could have been fixed after the Cody match.
Yeah.
There was no
But-
reason for the Jade botch.
Well,
There
that's
was
the
no
thing is we
reason
don't
for the Damian
at
botch.
this point no one actually knows if that's why everything happened. But going
Uncle
back to
Howdy
the world
fucked up
title
the
scene
ropes?
and the whole yes, but going back to everything with the world title scene, we don't know how much time Damian has right now because he messed his ankle up. Now he was talking at the post show presser. He hasn't gotten it checked yet. He's going to get it checked. No one's heard an update. It's been 24 hours. We're hoping good news, but at this point, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? No broken dreams this time. That made me
They're
a little
never
sad.
getting broken dreams again, ever.
They did at Clash at the Castle, but they won't do it. Well, the last Clash at the Castle, but they won't
did
do it at this
They
one.
did broken dreams for like 10 seconds, and then it was
They
back to
did,
Drew's
but that's all I
regular
want.
theme, which is like,
That's all I want.
I know. But
That's all I want. But Drew did get Scotland the Brave, which, if you're familiar, that is the theme song of Roddy Piper. I believe it's just like is that like a Scottish national anthem of some sort? Some kind of like national pride song for Scotland, I'm
Something
pretty
like
sure.
that, yeah.
The
Yeah.
name Scotland the Brave kind of sounds like a national anthem to me. I should have done my research. But yeah, it was really cool. Drew felt like a huge star. He got a big entrance. He autographed it. A kid was like, "Autograph my sign." He walked up and autographed the kid's sign right away. Big pop for that. And actually, his wife is in the U.S. and was in the U.S. while Drew was in Scotland wrestling because she had an emergency surgery. So wishing her well in her recovery, but that sucks. But Drew felt like a big star in this, and it really did make the people feel like he was going to win. And maybe he should have in the context of where they're at, but in terms of the storylines and the greater timeline of what's happening, it made more sense for him to lose. I
Yeah.
just feel like they kind of booked themselves into a corner with it. They should have had Drew's rematch on like a prior episode of Raw or something, but at the same time, if they didn't have Drew challenge, they would have heard it. If they did have Drew challenge and lose, they are hearing it now. If they had Drew win the title, it wouldn't have made any sense. He would have came back to the States and it would have just been a mess because Drew versus Gunther would be a great match, obviously. But Drew's character isn't in line with him being the champion. His whole character is based on I was the champion and I had all these screw jobs and people interfering and screwing me over, and now I'm not, So it's an unfortunate situation, but they did the best outcome, I think, long term for what they had in front of them.
In the moment,
Yeah.
you're mad, but like
you kind
when
of
you kinda
realize
go
the
through it,
situation, and
you know
go,
he's gonna
okay.
face Punk, and it's probably gonna be at SummerSlam. Punk needs to start getting punched in the face at this point. Like it's kind of just where we're at, and seeing everybody wants to play Booker now. Everyone's like, oh, we got Cody right.
Right. I mean,
like
they're
you're not
getting-
a booker. Relax,
No,
everybody.
yeah.
Relax,
Yeah.
relax.
Yeah.
Let
get
them
that
just
get
do
that
their
fantasy
thing.
booking
we
crap
we
out
know
of here. Like,
you know it was the right move. You know it was the right move. You knew it was the right move. Him losing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It-
It's not in
with
it for
Drew-
Drew. Sorry.
Yeah.
with Drew,
It
it's
will
so
be.
interesting because we brought this up in our Discord chat earlier today. Them announcing that the King of the Ring winners would get a title match. Sorry, King and Queen of the Ring would get a title match for SummerSlam. Kind of booked everything into a weird corner because you're like, well, Gunther won, so the assumption would be he'd get a title match at some point, and Bash at Berlin happens before SummerSlam, same
After
month in
SummerSlam.
August. Is it after SummerSlam or before SummerSlam?
It's after. It's
Oh,
after.
it is
It's
after. Okay.
So Bash in Berlin is
So-
August 31st, and SummerSlam is August 2nd.
I
think?
had it mixed up.
Or August 3rd?
I had it mixed up, I think. Regardless, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like you would think that he would want to challenge for the belt in Berlin.
in Berlin, but I think their plan is have him walk into Berlin with
And
the
out.
belt.
And out.
And out. Kind of what I think they're gonna do with AEW with Will Ospreay is that man's walking into Wembley with the AEW World Championship and walking out of Wembley with the AEW World
you think
Championship.
that's happening before?
I genuinely think he's winning that title at Forbidden
Well,
Door.
let's get there later. But
We'll
wow,
get there
okay.
later, but back to WWE. Yeah, like with the world title scene right now with Damian Priest being potentially hurt, we don't know. Where does that go from there? It kind of takes everything in a weird direction. Money in the Bank is coming up, and that always takes a weird direction. Gunther has a world title match set for SummerSlam. Who his opponent is, we don't know. The Drew and Punk thing never needed the title. It never did.
It didn't.
But people are like, oh, someone's got to walk in with that world and Punk's going to win. No. Punk doesn't need another world title. I think Punk knows he doesn't need another world title. He's just here to dick around. Like, he's just here to
Yeah.
have fun. Right?
He is.
The fact that the fact that the man is still the most over man of the company and has not wrestled a match since January and has not wrestled a televised singles match still to this day in like what, 13 or 12, 10 years now? 2014,
It's
right?
been a
Yeah.
while.
It's been a while, right? And he's still the most over man of the company. It doesn't need the world heavyweight title because as far as we know, anything could happen. Gunther more than likely will be winning the belt at SummerSlam. It's just a matter of who's gonna be the guy he wins it off of.
It doesn't matter.
No, but
It doesn't.
may-
He's gonna win.
He's gonna
Long
win.
story,
Yeah.
less long. It
It is.
doesn't
Long story less
matter.
long is gonna win. But it's just a matter of like everything's kind of in a weird kerfuffle now because people are still mad. Well, people are going to be mad for a little bit that Drew lost, but it's like how weird, Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how that match went down. Damian Priest retains the title over Drew McIntyre. He goes to SummerSlam, assuming he'll go to SummerSlam and face Gunther, the King of the Ring winner for the World Heavyweight title, unless maybe he drops it at Money in the Bank. Let's hope not, because that would be a mess. Next up, let's jump to the beginning of the show. We got opening the show an I Quit match for the undisputed WWE title, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. And here's a hot take before we get into it. A lot of people don't like AJ's new theme. I actually kind of like it. I don't think it's better. I don't think it's better than the original, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. I think people don't like it because his old theme was very good, and this one is fine, but not incredible. I kind of like it, but it's not as good as the old one. I think it's just getting a little bit too much hate. But anyway, Mama Rhodes was the MVP of this match as well, getting in Cody Rhodes' face at AJ Styles' face at ringside. Excuse me, saying he's bullshit, he's full of crap, slapping him in the face a couple times. Don't mess with Mama Rhodes because she'll fuck you up.
Mama Rhodes will mess you up.
Yeah, she will.
She will mess you up.
It's interesting. Anyone notice parallels in this match between with AJ doing similar things to The Rock? He's taunting Mama Rhodes. He's whipping Cody with a belt or a chain.
Mm-hmm.
He's threatening to hurt Mama Rhodes. He's doing a lot of the
think-
sbut things that Rock did to get in Cody's head.
I think a
I
lot
thought
of
that was cool.
that is an interesting parallel. You bring that up. I didn't even think of that watching the match. But I think it's something that might be a big part of, the way heels go about facing Cody moving forward is that you attack his family because it's the one thing he dearingly loves the most other than like his dog, and the world title, right? So like you attack his family, you get him. Plus, as much as I do want to say this for later as we get on with this match, you can't tell me that AJ messing with Cody with Mama Rhodes was not the reason Cody threw the steps at him at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Something has to be the catalyst to make Cody get that dark
like
and that
we're getting that
right?
slow turn. Nah.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know if it's a
I peeped
turn.
that.
I don't think it's a turn.
We're getting the
No,
slow.
that was unnecessary. That
It was unnecessary. It was actually incredibly unnecessary.
Go watch every single John. No,
reason
let
for
me
that.
let me cook. Go watch every single John Cena I Quit match. Go watch the I Quit match from Backlash 2009. Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy had Matt Hardy on the table. I was there live, and it's ingrained in my
Matt
memory.
said, "I
And he was
quit."
on
Yep.
top of the ladder. Matt said I quit, and then Jeff did it anyway. It's par for the course. It's nothing special. Nothing's gonna change.
I know
Cody's
you brought
just
the,
Gonna be a little bit of a dickhead now. Every
You
once
brought
in a
the-
while, if you cross him, he's an asshole. If not,
Right.
then he'll be Cody Rhodes, right? Sorry,
Right.
Yusuf, you've been trying to talk. I
No,
apologize. Go ahead.
I do want to say this quickly because you mentioned that Backlash match. Fun fact: TNA redid that whole thing like spot for spot years later, and that's what started the Broken Matt angle.
Of course they did. I
Fun
do
fact.
remember that actually.
Yes,
But
they
I do
redid the
remember
whole
that.
thing spot for spot, and that's what started Broken Matt. Anyway,
That's
back
probably
to this though.
it literally broke his mind. Like it happened again. The
like,
deja vu.
like, even with, what was it? What I can't remember what pay per view it was. It was Cena and Batista in that I Quit match. I think
Oh,
it was
the duct tape
2010
one.
at
The duct
Over the
tape one.
Limit. Yeah, the duct tape one. And was it Edge or was it
Which is
Batista? I
actually
can't
not
remember.
a terrible spot.
It's
no,
not. It's a
no,
smart
not
move.
a terrible spot. Oh, I can't remember if it was Edge or Batista now, but the match ends with the person saying "I quit" and Cena still AA'd him through
Exactly.
through the ramp. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
It's not particularly like, oh, he's gonna go heel, he's gonna go evil, he's starting to turn. No, it's just
no, it's just
it's
you mess with them in a
it's the
certain
breaking
way.
point. It's the breaking point of a babyface. You've already enraged them to the point where they're at the point of no return. You
Yeah.
know, the I Quit match brings the worst out of people. That's the gimmick. That's how it is
Emil's
to me. That's
thinking
how I
about
saw
something.
it.
What you thinking about, Boyle?
I didn't love it because if you're thinking about like these moments, like Matt was a hella heel. Matt was like what was the storyline that he drove Jeff Hardy off the road? He like blew
Then
up.
he like
cost
burned
Jeff
his
Hardy
house
the
down.
WWE title.
He cost his title. Yeah,
he blew his face up with pyro. Like
yeah.
Yeah, he hijacked the pyro.
and
Yeah.
when Cena did it anyway, who did he do it to? He did it to who?
Batista, he did it to.
I can't remember that one.
But
I think it was-
I
I forget who the other I
think
Quit
was
match
one.
was.
It was
the
either
point
Orton or
is
Edge,
like these
but
are like
yeah.
dastardly heels. I don't see that for AJ. I don't see
Randy
that.
Orton and The Miz as well.
I don't see that for AJ. I don't think AJ is this big dastardly heel for
No.
pulling the retirement ruse. I don't. I think like
No, but he
any
got in Mama
wrestler-
Rhodes' face.
the fact that any wrestler should be smart enough to understand that, and the fact that Cody Rhodes acknowledged that he was smart enough to understand that means he's not that mad about it. If
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah, I
if you're
get
not
that.
that mad, if you can understand the logic, right?
Right.
And that, so. And at this point, like, stop bringing your mom to a show. Then, if you're this smart, if you can understand the concept of
Yeah, stop.
stop
to be-
bringing your mom to the show. They also made that a point that Mama Rhodes was going to be there, and I was like, why? Why?
Yeah. Like have her hang backstage with Brandy. I don't know.
I think that was
like,
the-
what?
I think
I
that
was
was
like,
the
what was the point
point.
of telling
that's
us
the point,
this? I was
though,
like,
right?
this is
Yeah, that's kind of the
ridiculous.
point.
I think
So
the
then-
point was that Mama Rhodes is the pawn, is the reason why she's she's part of the reason why Cody has this rage built up, and then he ends up doing something that's a little bit
For reference,
out
this
of
is
character.
the same guy who defended Roman Reigns as a face. This is the same guy who defended John Cena as a face, who cannot defend this as a face move. I don't understand it. It didn't.
You're the
make
devil's
any-
advocate.
No,
You
this is
are
not
the devil's
This
yes,
is not
it is.
devil's advocate.
It absolutely
I
is.
can't stand good guy babyface Cody, and I thought
He
I saw
finally
this.
did something that's not babyface,
So-
and now you're mad about it. I don't get it. I
Because
don't get it.
Because it made no sense. Because it made no sense. Why?
It did.
Why did he do that? There was no reason for that. He did not get that enraged. He did not look that mad. He just kind of
AJ
held
literally
the steps.
threatened to hit his
He's-
mom with a chair. What are
He's
you
already
talking
cuffed.
about?
He's cuffed. To
He
the
was
rope.
outside of the. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If someone was trying to threaten
That's
my mom and I
bullshit.
neutralized them, yeah, I would kick the shit out of them. What do you mean?
Then Cody didn't sell it. Like, where was my tears? Where
Yes,
was
he
Crybaby
did.
Cody? Where was Crybaby
If he
Cody?
cried, you would be mad
That's
that he
what you
cried.
I would absolutely be mad.
You would
I
absolutely
can't
be
win.
mad.
He can't win
You
here.
would've
There's
been
no win for
furious
this.
if
I don't.
He
I don't. I don't
He can't
see
win
this.
for you because you don't
I'm-
like Cody. Just
I-
just admit it.
Unless
you
he's coming
don't
out
like
in this dark
Cody.
suit this week on Friday and you're gonna say some
He
shit.
did come out in a black suit. I will say he
Yeah.
did come out in a black suit at the kickoff.
If we're
Like-
getting black suit Cody, he did. That's right.
He
I'll
did.
take black suit, Cody.
Oh, he did.
That's about where I'll
We
go
got-
with. That's about as far as I think we're gonna get as a heel turn right now.
Another great spot was
Probably.
when AJ was like outside the ring. He was ready to do the phenomenal
He was going
forearm,
for
and
the
Cody
forearm,
threw
yeah.
the chair, smacks him in the face. He falls back through a table set up outside the ring. That was
That
chef's
is
kiss.
AJ
So
Styles
good.
is one guy you can trust to make sure that spot
For
goes smoothly.
real, dude.
Like
that was so good.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of guys that can catch themselves off a springboard like
Yeah.
like that, but
I know.
AJ Styles can. And
Also,
yeah.
Jumping to the beginning of the match too, just a production note. I loved how they had the ref explaining the rules to both guys on the microphone after they did the
Yeah.
introductions.
Yeah,
That felt
that was
super
interesting.
UFC MMA style, like the touch gloves kind of thing. Like, I think it made it feel more like a legitimate sport, and it makes me mad that they
Well-
did it for just that and not the rest of them. Because like, I like that. I like when wrestling feels more like
It's-
other sports because
well, kinda-
that's the problem is it feels so disconnected from other sports.
It does. And it reminds me of, back in like 2006, 7, 8, that era, when they would have certain stipulation matches on pay-per-view. They would have the rules on a graphic before entrances, right? And like commentary would mention like these are the rules of the match, yada yada yada. Like there's a tail of the tape, and then there's rules of the match, and all these things, just so fans at home can understand. They probably aired that on the Trons in the arenas during the matches themselves.
They usually do for like rumbles and stuff too.
Yeah, Rumbles, like when the Championship Scramble was a thing for that 1 year. For the Chamber, they used to have that, right? The Casket match, I remember there being a graphic for that. Survivor Series 2008, Big Show versus The Undertaker. That was the thing. But yeah, it was cool that they actually had the ref, like, on a microphone explaining the rules. Like, okay, good. It helps the crowd sort of get, like, just so we're clear so that there's no, like, funny bullshit. You know?
Funny business going on
because
here.
there's always some kind of stipulation match where you assume you already know what the rules are going to be and the stipulations are based on past matches of that stipulation, right? And then something ridiculous happens and the ref calls the match and you're like, that's not supposed to happen.
No, that's very true.
So, yeah, like the transparency is great, is what I'm trying to get to. The transparency is very nice.
And then after the match, after Cody won, so Cody's going to celebrate. He walks up the ramp, and who comes out from backstage? Yusuf, who was it?
Oh, it was the weekday.
The weekday.
It
Solo
was the
Sikoa.
weekday and his weird two friends.
Yes. So he comes out and he's standing behind Cody. He's clapping. Cody's like, "What? What? Who's behind?" Like, it looked almost like he looked behind the wrong shoulder. Like Solo did the old like reach around to the other shoulder and tap so you could fool your friend
like
look the other way.
It was very Looney Tunes.
So Cody's like, "Huh? What?" And then Tamatonga and Tongaloa come out, beat the shit out of Cody. Solo joins in, and then Randy Orton and Kevin Owens make the save. So to me, it screams one of two directions. I think it could be for Money in the Bank. Either we get a 6-man tag with Cody, Orton, and KO against the Bloodline, or we get a one-on-one Cody and Solo at Money in the Bank for the title, and then KO and Orton and Randy, and then Tonga are just kind of auxiliary characters. You know what I mean? Like people that are like the 6-man tags on SmackDown, the people in promos, the one-on-ones of mix and matching between all 6 of the guys. Like this is the Judgment Day and gaggle of faces on Monday Night Raw feud of
insert
SummerSlam.
people here,
Yeah.
Are we ready to say it yet? Like I know it's only been like 8 weeks.
I think I'm ready to
is it
say
the-
that.
Are we
the
ready to
bloodline-
go that this bloodline sucks?
This bloodline sucks.
This bloodline is
bloodline-
bad.
yeah.
This is
They're
bad.
trying-
Let
they're
me, no,
trying-
let me get my clip off, damn it. Let me get my clip off.
Okay. Go
Oh.
for it.
This is bad.
He wants the hashtag content.
This is really
Shut
bad.
up.
So we've rebranded them. We've taken away their tracksuits. We put them in real suits. Don't love it. Don't hate it. It is
I like
what
it.
it is. I like the tracksuits more. I just think they look cleaner.
Same.
So we're expecting that Solo is supposed to be the new Roman, but he's not the new Roman. Okay, I understand that, and he's not moving the same way. Cool. Storyline, got it. So then we got the Tongans. They're his version of the twins, right? Cool. Got it. Understand it. Here's where we go down the wrong path. They're losing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
Roman wins matches.
Roman
Roman
wins his
won.
matches. The twins win.
Roman and
Twins
Usos
won.
Yeah.
The Twins are the best
The
tag
Twins
team
are
in WWE history.
Held,
period.
held tag team belts for what? 1,000 days? 1,000
Yeah,
days? Roman's not the
something
only
like
one who
that,
did 1,000.
Yeah.
Roman's not the only one who did 1,000.
They had undisputed. They had unified 2 different sets of titles during this run.
Yeah.
The ridiculousness. And then, of course,
Yeah.
Roman is Roman. We know what Roman is.
Right.
So here's the problem. We're losing. And
Yep.
we're losing in segments. And that is a big problem. We just had this whole thing where we scared Paul Heyman to death, and we made him call them whatever nicknames they are, the infamous and.
Oh, I got you. So so Tama
can't.
Tonga is the right hand man, which is literally
you.
what they call Jay. So this is just like copy paste, and then.
But I like that. That
I
makes
like that
sense.
as well.
That's
I
cool.
like that as well.
Okay,
But then
yeah.
Tonga Loa is, as I put it on the last week, the infamous Tonga Loa, which is corny as all hell, dude. The infamous. Why do you need to give him a nickname? Call him
I have a question off air that I'll ask about that because I'm
yeah.
really
How about
curious.
like the Tongan Killer, Tonga Loa? That sounds infinitely better, and I just came up with that off rip.
So you're telling me, hold on, Yusuf, I see you over there. So you're telling
same.
me that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are gonna beat them in a fucking segment, just so we don't have our champion look bad? I'm
Yeah.
over it. I'm so over it. I looked at that and I went, it's done. It's done. It's done. I will not believe that these guys are supposed to beat, or at least supposed to be a threat to the old bloodline.
We're
Because
just
we know
buying
that
time until
we
Roman
know we're
comes back.
buying time for Roman to come back. We have to cook with the twins, and the other twin is injured because fucker hurt his foot. Because everybody wants to get hurt right now because they're doing pile drivers again. I don't know. I can't
You're
keep
doing
up.
brain busters and pile
We're doing
drivers
brain
left
busters,
and
and
right.
now everybody
It's
wants
an
to
indie
hurt their
show.
And now, no, we're doing brain busters, but somehow everybody's hurting their ankle. And
But
their
also,
elbow.
Yeah.
also, I've noticed Solo is starting to do like his Roman Reigns cosplay. Like not like last week he busted out a spear.
We're doing
was
the
gonna-
triple power bomb.
He was
like,
triple
doing
power
power
bomb. So he
bombs,
was gonna
like-
hit somebody with last week with the thumbprint, and he like was like, "Wah!" And he was like, never mind. He bounced off the rope and he spears the dude, and I'm like, okay, interesting. Like, at what point are you gonna do something different than Roman Reigns? Because you're not Roman Reigns, and you're not The Weeknd. So who are you? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Solo doesn't feel like this underground street champion fighter that they originally build him as anymore. And like, it sucks because I feel like he talks the talk in the backstage promos and stuff, and like he talks the talk as the leader. Paul Heyman is working overtime, winning Oscars over here, trying to get this story over, and it's just, for me, it's just not working. Like, I would have just preferred that Solo did shit on his own at this point and just
Paul
was
Heyman
a
is-
singles guy.
Paul Heyman is selling.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman
Yeah.
is selling his ass
Yeah.
off for what? We are wasting a Hall of Famer right now. He could have been
Yep.
off.
He could have been with Braun
chilling.
Breaker. He could have been with Braun Breaker right now.
Nah, I'm passing.
Oh.
I'm
No, I
passing.
like Braun. I like Braun and Heyman. I like that. I like that combo.
But like,
I like that combo.
can we talk more about that J look? Like, is there anything that we can do here? Like,
Yeah,
what is going
They're
to
gonna-
save
That's
this?
for a video
So-
package.
This is bad.
okay.
This is really
I-
bad.
I
Yeah.
have,
How do you? We can't save this right now.
I have.
I don't
two
think it's
things.
really bad. I think it's just in comparison to the old, it's not good.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, absolutely. I have two things to talk about.
Yeah.
Number one is first, the infamous Tongaloa is a really bad nickname for a
Yep.
guy that was the 15th most important member of one of the greatest factions in wrestling history.
Wow.
He was the third, maybe second most important member of his family in New Japan, messing up spots, botching all the damn time. You would call him the infamous Tongaloa? Look, dude, like, no hate to you, but come on, that's a shit nickname. Fuck.
Also, like,
anything else, please.
it's so funny because it was like this. It was billed. The segment was billed as the tribal anointment. If it were Roman, he would be getting the ufala, like the
Yeah, they'd
the
be getting the
necklace
whole.
thing.
They'd be getting the
He'd
lays
he'd
and
be getting
everything.
the
yeah.
lays on him. No, this time all they get now is some corny ass nickname. Like, what is this, dude? What is this bloodline?
So the other thing that bothers me is that where they're all in like suits and everything. Like Solo, what are you doing, brother? The red shirt, the red button up, and the suit. Like you just look like The Weeknd, but you're not The Weeknd. My problem with that, and this is to what you guys were bringing up a minute ago. When he was this like underground street fighter kind of character that like, was the enforcer of the bloodline. Had they stayed in that direction, where that's how Solo wanted the bloodline to be run, with Roman being absent for a little bit, nothing changes about the character, nothing changes about their look, none of that, right? Solo still comes out in the shorts and still looking like he's gonna beat the living crap out of you, and they keep the bloodline as we're just gonna pummel everybody. That would have been fine. That would have been better than whatever the hell's going on right now, because then that all makes sense for this hostile bloodline takeover that Paul Heyman's freaking out about and winning Oscars for. Like, it justifies how Paul is acting. However, because of this whole, it's just like, please stop. It's getting bad, and it's getting worse week by week.
Well, you need someone to step up. Like I get the
You do.
concept
No,
of
no,
how
and I think
how it
it's
evolved.
fine.
I don't want to say they hard switch it because it's more of an evolution.
It is.
It's just not working. It's
No,
just not working,
exactly.
bro.
It really
it's
isn't.
not.
It's just not
No.
working, dog.
It worked at first, but then Solo was like, losing matters, right? So you should face consequences when you lose, right? And then what does he do in his next match? He gets himself DQ'd by hitting someone with a fucking chair. Like, that makes no sense, dude. Like, I thought that I don't know, man. It's
What they
it's
should
so
have done?
dumb.
They should have ran Solo taking over the Bloodline, like how they ran Punk when he took over the Nexus,
Bruh.
where he was like, "Oh, you lose? All right, I'm gonna cane the shit out of you."
Honestly.
Like, there should be
also
consequences for losing.
the Tongans were scarier when they didn't say anything. They were
Agreed.
scarier before they opened their mouth.
Yeah, they
were-
could have stopped. They
yeah.
could have not talked.
They could have
Tama
not
Tonga-
talked.
I think Tama Tonga is one of the best underrated workers in the business. That man, as much as I do love hearing him talk when he was doing backstage stuff in New Japan, when he gets to be off the cuff and people enjoy that, it doesn't have the same effect here.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have that same tenacity. It doesn't have that same both nonchalant but also you guys are all fucking stupid vibe that he has to his promos. It just feels off. Like, something about it just feels off.
Pass.
There you go.
And to end it off, one last shot. To end this segment, we got Orton taking yet another peek, but instead of a woman's breasts, this time it was Cody's WWE Championship. So
We're getting that match eventually.
I think we could see it. I think we could see the 6-man tag at Money in the Bank. Orton turns maybe after the match, maybe during, and we get Cody versus Orton at SummerSlam. I think that's the match.
I think the move is probably a 6-man. I think that's the goal. However, the Bloodline can't lose. However, Cody can't lose. Randy can't really lose. No one can lose.
If
but
Orton
somebody's
turns
gotta
on the
lose.
team, though.
I don't want him to turn during the match. I want him to do it after. I want him to drop him, and that's how it fades to black. However, all of it sucks. It's a bad position for kind of all 6 men. Well, 5 out of the 6 men. Kevin Owens is just kind of there doing whatever
He's
he
just
wants.
chilling. Yeah.
Kevin Owens
Which
is doing
is
Kevin
great.
Owens things.
Kevin
He
Owens
really
is doing
is.
Kevin Owens shit. He's wearing a tie over a T-shirt.
Love it.
He's for some reason
Yep.
an analyst, and
Why not?
That's fine.
He
Listen,
was
Man's
chilling.
chilling. Man's chilling.
He
Yeah.
was big chilling. I want him to go back to Australia and get a koala.
Yeah.
I want the
Yeah.
koala to be a part
I-
of his act now.
I don't like him in all these other countries. Can go back to Australia.
Yeah, just go back to Australia. That's the thing they're doing now. Whenever they go to different countries, they have him go to a zoo, and he just goes.
Yeah, they just go vibe with
Asks
all the
about the
animals and
animals.
shit.
And I'm
That's-
like, yo,
that's
we need
about
more
where
of
he's
this
at.
Kevin Owens like animal content. Like, this is good. Yeah.
This is the guy that had a shirt one time that said Kevin Owens pandas are awesome or some shit on it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
fuck
shit.
it.
What? I
Why
kind of
not,
want
man?
that shirt.
You know? Yeah.
I wish I had
Sure.
that. All right,
God.
so moving
Yeah.
on from that match, because we've talked that into the ground. The next match was a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag team titles. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defended the championships unsuccessfully against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who
Hold
won
on.
the titles. What's up?
Hold on. So in this specific case, we've learned that the triple threat tag team match goes as followed. There are 3 people in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
You can still tag anybody. No, you tag your partner.
No, you tag your partner.
Yeah, you tag your
You
partner.
tag your partner
Yeah.
This
and
is
the
the
other-
logical
on the
format
other
of
on the
how
outside.
this
This
is the
is
yeah,
probably how a tag team match should be.
a multi-team
However,
match. Yes.
I like
Yeah.
the illogical bullshit
No.
of the other way.
No.
I'm
No,
gonna-
it's so dumb. It's so,
funny.
bad.
It's so stupid.
I don't
and
It's so
understand.
dumb.
love
It gets
I-
so
Wrestling is the
confusing.
dumbest sport
I
alive.
do not understand what Vince was thinking with making that how a triple threat tag team match works. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. There was a chant throughout the match of Shayna scares me. Shayna scares me, which honestly is probably the most accurate chant I've ever heard because Shayna is scary
She's
as
terrifying.
hell.
Yeah.
Except she loses.
Yeah. But like her moves always look painful. She always looks scary. But yeah, I will say not as big of an initial pop when Fire and Dawn came out. But then when they won the titles, the crowd popped huge.
Hometown people got their pop.
They got
that was
their-
your
they got
hometown
their
pop
pop.
of
They
the
did.
night.
Yeah.
That
Well,
happening.
there were a few.
You kind of knew it was like, oh, Drew's not winning shit.
Yeah.
No one else is winning shit.
Yeah.
And that's just how it's gonna be.
The match was pretty good,
was
but
alright.
there
It was
were
fine.
it was ridden with botches. One of them being what Yusuf and I mentioned earlier. Yusuf, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so Jade Cargill has this spot she's been doing, which is a springboard crossbody off the ropes. And normally she does it off a tag or just does it regularly. And she pulled the spot off at Backlash in France, and that was, pretty well done. This time around, not so much. Jade goes for the crossbody off the ropes, and
She
Pancakes.
kind of
she like West Coast popped, as in like when Ray would like jump on the rope and then like literally just fall off of it. She basically did that, but there was no one there to catch her fall, and she basically just fell in her face.
Yeah, like you could see when she got
Yeah.
on the ropes, you could see the ropes give enough that there was just no slack.
Yeah.
Like there was no resistance whatsoever, so she just dropped. And
That
I was
sucks.
like, "Oh, that's not good."
I will say they saved it on the camera angle because they got the angle from the corner in which she was standing. So they got her
Yeah.
from behind. If they had the hard cam shot and you just saw her face plant, that would have looked
It
horrible.
would've
So they
looked
saved
really
it with the
bad.
camera angle, I think.
Yeah, production I think really made a good move on that, and I like to bring this up nowadays, but as much as I do respect the hell out of Jade Cargill. A lot of what's going on with her right now is make sure she looks, good, right? She's still
Yeah.
green to a point.
still learning.
She's getting better. She's getting a
She's
lot
so
better.
much better.
Yeah,
She had
so
another
much.
awkward spot though too.
There's
Yeah,
again no
but-
reason to really like
No.
there's no reason to stress. Like
There
Yeah,
isn't.
We're fine.
no one's
right?
saying give her a women's title match in the next 2 months.
Yeah, she's fine.
2
Where
months
she
being
is right
SummerSlam.
now. The trajectory.
No one's
the
saying
trajectory
do all
is-
that.
is
No
fine.
one's saying do that. It may
Right.
not. She may not even. I think a safe bet would be the Rumble next year, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
necessarily a given. So
No.
she's got I think a year or
Yeah.
so before she's like really in a title scene. So like
Yeah,
we're,
but-
we're building, we're cooking, we're letting her
building
figure
with,
herself
we're cooking
out.
with Jade. It's just, unfortunate instance of that just happens. Right.
I wouldn't
Things
even.
happen.
Would you say she's
I
botch
wouldn't.
heavy yet?
No.
There
I
was a
wouldn't either.
spot there was a spot in this match where I think Shayna had her in a submission hold and she was literally like this, her arms were like this, and she was literally going like this and tapping, and
Oh,
commentary
I
was
didn't
like,
notice
is she
that.
tapping? And then they had to make an excuse and say the ref didn't see it because they were blocked by Shayna because the ref was standing behind them. So they were like, oh, the ref didn't see it, blah blah blah. I don't know, but she completely did not she did not intend to be tapping, but she
Right.
was. And the camera was right there, like that. Everyone could see that she was tapping. It looked really awkward. Also,
Yeah.
Bianca actually botched as well. She had a 450 splash that she tried doing, or a 450 like knee drop or something like that, or I forget what it was. She completely
normally
missed
does a knee
it.
drop. Ooh.
Yeah, it was a 450 knee, I think, and she like kind of landed awkwardly, well. Maybe, I don't know. It looked like a botch, but maybe it was just a 450 knee drop, but it just looked like she overshot it.
I gotta rewatch
So-
it. But
So with all this, like you can see the modern wrestling play that Triple H is doing.
Yeah.
You can see that because a lot of these cats that are on top right now still came from NXT, but NXT doesn't teach that. That's not. While NXT is like, hey, if you can jump, you can try. We can start trying to teach you how to 450, but like,
Yeah.
if you can't jump, no.
we can't.
So
yeah.
so again, because a lot of these, especially in the women's side, haven't cut their teeth in a Ring of Honor, in a TNA, in a spot where you kind of have to figure it out on your own. Y'all can't do that. So if you can't do that, don't.
I will say,
Don't hurt
Triple H.
yourself.
Triple H. I watched the post show, which was basically just the press conference. Triple H basically said that his MO right now is focusing more on the stories being told than the in-ring action because of the increase of injuries that they've seen and making sure that the workers are as safe as possible. And I get it. Honestly, though, doing it that way, working the stories more than the matches will make the matches better because the wrestlers will have more to give during the matches because they're working safer in the ones that don't really matter as much. So I'm cool with it. Injuries happen. there are times where a lot of people get injured and there are times where no one's injured, and we're very blessed to have a full roster of talent. Right now is just one of those times where a lot of people are injured.
Currently, we are
But-
very.
And it's the list, and the list is growing. So we'll see. But Punk might come off of that list soon. Rhea's supposed to be coming off that list soon as well. So hopefully we'll be seeing some normalcy back on our television screens. But yeah, new tag team champions. The most important part we barely talked about. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn stole the win by pinning, I believe, Shayna or Zoe, one of the two. It was Isla that stole the pin. And got a hometown pop. We gave Scotland a bone by saying, there you go, you have your hometown win. I wish they did more character development with Fire and Dawn. They really didn't. It makes me feel bad, but it makes me feel like the only reason why they did it was Scotland. And I get that I recognize that they're super talented, right? But from a story perspective, they had no build to these titles besides them beating up the champions once and then saying, we want your
and
titles.
the challengers.
Yeah, no. The challengers in Fire and Dawn were working together to beat down the champions.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought they interrupted a fatal 4-way or something.
Well, they did, but
Something like that.
Zoe Stark was about to get beaten by Jade, and then they interfered. So like they were okay with it because they would have lost that match anyway. Yeah. So that's that. The next match.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them
Yeah,
indeed.
good for them.
The next match for the Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn successfully defends against Chad Gable in Gable's 50th championship challenge for the IC title.
That's not true. It's only his second.
It's his fifth.
It's
his
fifth, actually.
His second against Sammy, but he's had 3 against Gunther, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
this
but we
is-
knew he wasn't beating Gunther.
Well,
I
we
know.
knew that, but still,
So-
it's not a good look for Gable.
No.
Gable losing is super interesting, sad, upsetting. I don't know. So
All
the
of
big
that.
thing.
All of that.
So I understand why from a standpoint of we just had all of these heels run the show for the last year and a half. So from basically the time Triple H took the pen onward. So WrestleMania was a big deal. We're trying to keep WrestleMania being a big deal, right? I think that's the gimmick of why Sammy's not losing. I think that's the reason why Bayley doesn't lose. That's obviously the reason Cody's not losing. We have to build these face champions. That being said, Gable could have won this match.
Yeah, this is not the face champion to build.
And I slept through this.
Yeah.
But Gable could have won this. It would have been fine.
I wrote in my notes that this match could have been on Raw because there was no development in the story at all. This was exactly what's been playing out every week on Raw. Otis gets mad. Somehow a botch happens in their plans and Maxine gets hurt. Otis gets mad again and gets in Gable's face. And then Otis protects Maxine to Gable's detriment, which is literally exactly what happened. So first off, the chant of Gable is a wanker was fantastic. I loved it.
Good on you, Scotland.
But yeah, there were 2 ways that this should have happened. Otis should have either helped Gable win, which is what I think should have happened, or turned on Gable, and neither of those things happened. This is one of those stories where a lot of people tend to talk about how Triple H is a very long-winded booker when it comes to stories. He likes to draw a lot of things out. This is one of those stories where it's being drawn out too much, I think. What I said should happen is Otis should have helped Gable win because, it's been building to this, right? It's been building to, will Otis help him or won't he? And it allows for Otis to still for Triple H to still tell this long story of Otis is helping Gable. And then Otis in his mind is like, yes, I'm finally doing something right. I'm helping my leader, my coach, my idol, win the title he wants after he told me I'm useless for weeks. And then hopefully, Otis is thinking, hopefully Gable will see him in a different light now. And then Gable, being a heel and being a dastardly prick, still shits all over Otis. Why don't you help me with this? Why don't you help me with that? You're not good enough, whatever. Even after Otis did something right. So then Otis then loses his control and it's the last straw. He turns on Gable. And then we get Otis versus Gable for the Intercontinental title. And Gable retains because the Creed brothers come, help Gable, and screw over Otis. That's where I think we should have gone already. I think that's still where we're going to go, but it should have been now as the start of that. That should have been the catalyst.
I think they've been with the Creed brothers thing is, it got brought up. It's like, oh, okay, this will be fun. And then nothing came of it. Nothing has still sort of come of it, other than like, there was one little backstage thing during some other interview where someone's like, "Oh my God, is that Chad Gable talking to the Creed brothers?" Oh, but then after that, you're like, just crickets.
Yep.
Right. They're definitely a little late to the party on pulling the trigger on that, and Gable should have won. Gable genuinely, regardless of everything they did for that match with the booking with Otis and with Gable accidentally chopping Maxine's knee and all that, everything that happened, even with all that, Chad Gable should have won.
So does this move that Gable and Otis story without the title, which nobody wants?
No, but
TBH. Just a question.
I guess.
Wait, sorry. What is the question? I missed it.
Are we still gonna move with that Gable and Otis story? It's just not gonna be with the title. No, we're just gonna move on.
I think we're gonna get some more development. I think Gable is gonna win that title. I just don't understand why they didn't do it at Clash.
SummerSlam.
Sammy.
Here's the thing.
I wanted Sammy to go on to Money in the Bank personally.
Trips needs to understand that this is not NXT. We do have a lot of shows.
Stories can move a little faster here, Trips.
Yeah.
Trust me, let it cook. Let it cook. I got it.
Not every story is a Roman Reigns 4-year story, dude.
Just a little grease in the wheels.
Yeah.
Like,
get some WD-40 on there.
Yeah,
little WD-40.
We don't want it to be overcooked. We like it. We let it a certain way.
Right now, the veggies are gonna catch fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was that. The match was good, but
it was great.
Again, it could have been the main event of a Monday Night Raw. It could have been the main event of tomorrow night's Raw or last Monday's Raw. It really could have.
Gable resigned?
Yes,
Gable has resigned.
And he's fully said that he's on board with Triple H, and the whole reason that he wasn't going to resign was because he was waiting to see if WWE was going to change and become more of what Triple H promised Chad Gable, and it did, and that's why Chad resigned. That's what he said.
Well, we're glad he's staying.
All in all, Chad Gable still wins. LOL.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to be one of the top heels moving forward. So
I like that for him. There's no reason he can still be this top heel. I think you just kind of got to shuffle a little bit, especially now that he's losing to Sammy. He can't go right back to Sammy, right? We got to move on.
I don't know, dude. Sammy's still trying to get Otis and Maxine and Tozawa to break away from Chad.
I think the problem now is if he moves away from Sammy, the logical destination is Otis, but we don't want that.
Not yet. I don't know. I don't know where
it's a little conflicting.
We could go full Otis heel. Because right now Otis is
would
a face.
be fun, yeah.
And if he stops, what if he locks in? I kind of posed this question, I think on the Me and Yusuf podcast. I was like, what if Otis just kind of locks in?
Well, that's what I was hoping he did.
That's
what I was hoping he would do.
But he should have done that. He should have done that here too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Instead of him.
It could have been
getting his big babyface pop. He could have gotten his big babyface pop too. He could have went either direction. I think the Triple H way is probably to be like, let's lock in.
It could have been Otis locks in and helps Gable win, and then Gable still is berating Otis on a regular basis after Otis thought maybe if I help Gable, he'll like me now, and he still doesn't like Otis. So then Otis is like, you know what? Fuck you. I want your title now. Give it to me.
Right.
You wouldn't have it without me, so give me a match for it.
Yeah.
Which is also ironic because of the way Sammy got his shit.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a little confusing.
Not quite.
It's a little
Gable
confusing.
didn't interfere and help.
No,
but without
I
trained
him.
him.
I get what you mean. It's definitely a little confusing
Well,
right now.
did he train him or did he show him some basic stuff that most wrestlers probably know how to train by doing? You know what I mean?
Probably the latter.
He made him sweat. He trained.
He made him do squats.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, squats are important.
That's the regiment now in WWE.
Yeah,
It is.
Squats are big.
All right. The next matchup, we got Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship against Piper Niven, the hometown
Scotland.
lass.
I'm not Scottish.
Good
I
on her
can't
for
do that,
getting her pops.
Yeah.
The Chelsea Green in the mask was hilarious.
Chelsea
yes.
Green stole this match.
El
Charles
Chelsador?
Robinson going, we know it's you, bro.
Yeah,
We know."
literally.
Stop.
We know it's you.
I like that.
El Chelsador.
Smart.
I
Not
believe
only
she's
smart
calling herself.
not only smart wrestlers, smart commentators, smart referees.
Absolutely.
We love that.
That's what we love to see in
we
2024.
love to see that.
Smart referees. AEW could never.
Yeah. Also,
No.
commentary acknowledging Viper, which was Piper's indie name.
Yeah,
That was cool. I liked that.
that was really cool.
I liked that.
Match was fine.
Other
It
than
was,
that,
it was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay. It was good. Bailey gets a win. But I liked how they did it. I liked how they finished the match. So
it was random.
it looked like, yeah, but that's the point. It was like Bailey used her veteran instincts and Piper's inexperience. That's the whole thing. It was Piper hasn't had many times in the limelight. She's had 2 singles women's championship opportunities, I believe. One of them was probably just a go like a throwaway television match, but this one was a legit one, and it made Piper look strong. And it just made, because what happened was Piper had Bailey up in a crucifix bomb, and she went to hit it, and Bailey slid out and rolled her up and pinned her and won, and kind of caught her like out of nowhere. It kind of was just like she caught her slipping, and Piper's more of a rookie, so she's not like a rookie, but in terms of WWE, she's not at the Bailey level of being a veteran in the ring.
So what had me fucked up is I actually thought the audio got fucked. No, seriously, like there was like such a dip in the audio. The commentary got super loud. I didn't hear anything else except the commentary.
Crowd was dead.
Everybody went.
Crowd sat and waited for Drew is what they did.
No, they kind of just were like, all right, I guess that's my heart ripping.
Yeah.
And then we shouted it later. All
True.
right. I just didn't feel, like all the wind got sucked out of that room. Like I've never, there are very few times where I feel like a pink drop could get heard.
It was very weird. It was very odd.
I don't know if that was just technical difficulties or if that was really the crowd. I didn't go look at live videos of her winning, but that's concerning for your big baby face. That's concerning.
Yeah, just a
Big concern.
Bailey's supposed to be your.
Well, part of it is that she's facing the hometown lass, and so she's gonna kind of be a heel in this country. But it's not like she's.
You don't want no reaction.
But it's
no reaction is bad.
I don't know. I just think it was also the
They didn't
placement of the
react.
match as well.
They kind of just went.
I did hear our favorite. Who? I want to know.
Hey,
I was like,
my girl.
Ooh.
That's
I
saved it
love
for
it.
me. I was like, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they
was great.
got the chant in. They got
They
to
got
do
the
their
memo.
chant. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great when you have no reaction, and the problem with this show, as great as the crowd was and everything, was good about the show overall. When you have 3 matches with hometown guys and girls involved, they are not gonna be the heels going in. They are going to be the faces, whether you like it or not, and that comes with the territory, right? So if you're expecting one of your top baby faces in the company to be facing them in this situation, they're probably going to get booed. Is the first thing. You're fully expecting that because they're facing the hometown guy, and the boos are okay. However, when there's silence, that's.
I would have taken booze over silence.
I would have taken boos over silence any day.
I would have
That's
taken booze
bad.
over silence.
That's
That was
real bad.
that's rough for Bailey, but it's fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to the States. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
and then
there's not gonna be a
we
problem.
go back to
Exactly.
North America.
I think
we'll
the
figure it
problem
out.
is that they didn't want to boo Bailey, but they didn't. They
didn't want
to cheer her either because they're cheering for Piper.
lost, yeah.
So I just think that they didn't know what to do, and rightfully so. But Bailey is now going to move on to SummerSlam. She's going to defend the women's title against Nia Jax. She's probably going to have another match in between at Money in the Bank, maybe. I'm assuming she faces Chelsea one-on-one at Money in the Bank. She runs the gauntlet. Like, she faces Piper first, and now she's going to get a match with Chelsea at Money in the Bank, and then she'll go on to SummerSlam and lose to Nia Jax, is my guess.
So now that we've kind of hit now that we're at the end of the show, right? We've made it through all 5 matches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good small Triple H card again. A+ for giving me only 5 matches.
Still
Don't
3-hour
bombard me.
show, though.
Don't bombard me.
Insane that they were
That's
all
enough.
title matches, too.
That's enough. That was good.
Yeah, all title matches is nice.
Yeah, all title matches is actually nice.
The consensus is that this was mostly a glorified house show, and I feel like that's we're starting to hit the fatigue of international PLEs. We're kind of selling based off the fact that, oh, this one's in Scotland, this one's in France. Oh, listen to the France crowd. Oh, we're going to Canada. Like,
Yeah, they had the DB. They
I
had the
think-
DB meter on the
decimal
Tron a couple
meter.
times, which is a good idea. I like that.
Yeah,
That's-
it's
I
cool.
think
Nothing wrong with it.
I think there's a little bit of fatigue. This was not France. This
No.
didn't come with the same energy. This didn't even come with the same hype.
I think part of it, and this kind of rings my point about, you're in the hometown of certain wrestlers. With France, it was like, look, we have no horse in this race or any of these races. So
Yeah,
we
France
get
is
to
like,
have
we're
all
not
the
getting a
fucking,
Mania.
We're not getting a Mania. So they're like, we get to have all the fun we want. Because there's no French superstars that are main eventing a show or anything like that. They're like, look, we're just going to have a fuck ton of fun.
Where's Rene Dupree?
Where is Rene Dupree? Even though Rene Dupree's Canadian.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Scotland is a little difficult because not one, not two, but 3 matches had hometown wrestlers. So they were expecting all that. And my family friend is currently living in Scotland. He's there for school. And he's, huge wrestling fan, long-time wrestling fan. So he went to Clash of the Castle this year. So he was at the show, and I texted him, like, hey, how was it? Like, what, how was everything about Drew? And what he told me was what he told me the night of WrestleMania after Drew got cashed in on, but worse in that people are mad. Like, people are furious because they had a horse in the race, and that horse lost. So obviously they're going to take their anger out. Had this show gone with, no Scottish wrestlers being involved, yeah, it would have been fine. But I get they wanted to promote that, and that's great. But it's hard for Scotland. I only wonder what it's going to be like in Germany, even though Gunther is Austrian. I'm curious as to, I guess. But I'm curious as to how that goes, Same thing in Canada. Like, we see that all the time whenever they would do major shows in Canada, especially when Edge was main eventing shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not only that you have a horse in the race, you have one of the biggest horses in this race. So if he loses, the crowd goes ape shit and gets angry.
Yeah.
But I guess but we're not answering my question, right? My question is, are we feeling the fatigue of the international PLE?
Oh, yeah.
One, they're on Saturdays in the afternoon, and it's summertime. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
You want to be out.
I was looking outside, and I was like, I don't really want to be in here watching wrestling.
I was watching the show,
it's
and
sunny,
I kind of looked.
It's 80 degrees. I want to be at a beach, at a pool,
Yeah, I just want to be
doing
relaxing
something,
outside.
day drinking. I don't really want to sit inside and watch wrestling.
Drink
Right.
responsibly.
So that's number one, because now we're in the summertime, school's out, teacher, hence why I'm so locked in on those kind of dates.
Yeah.
So not only that, the kids are out. The kids don't want to sit inside and do that. Like, the kids are going somewhere. Like it's not January. It's not February. We don't have time to just sit inside on a rainy day and watch wrestling. Like, it's nice outside. So that's number one. Two, the reason I think why there may start to be some fatigue in like this glorified house show thing is like these were all 3 no gimmick shows, right? King of the Ring was a gimmick, kind of, but it was really just it's 2 more people getting in the ring and wrestling.
Right.
Like, there's no gimmick, there's no Money in the Bank, there's no Hell in the Cell, there's no steel cage, there's no last man standing, XY the third. There was an I Quit match on this. Okay. Not that I'm here for branded the gimmick match branded pay-per-views, but we're starting.
And here we are. The pot calls the kettle black. He's calling for a gimmick pay-per-view.
No. But I'm looking for a gimmick, which is why that's why they hit this I Quit match, right?
Yeah.
I understand that, because that really did come out of nowhere.
Yep.
Because we're starting to hit this point now where it's like, well, we know none of the 3 babyface champs are going to lose, right? We know immediately that there's, like, Cody's not losing, Bailey is probably not going to lose, and
Sammy's
not going to lose. If he was going to lose.
My problem is he should have lost at Clash so he could go to Money in the Bank and do something cool.
Hold on, because we're not done yet. One, Jade's been on 2 of these 3 shows. Actually, Jade's been on 3 of these 3 shows if you count the pre-show.
Yep.
Jade's been on 3 of these 3 shows. So right now we've had 4 of essentially the same match. We've had a WWE title match. We've had a WWE title match for the women. And we've had these women's tag matches, right? And we've had a Sammy match on 2 of them.
Well, we had the women's world too at King and Queen, and
we're kind of getting the same cards. There's no tag team. Where is the Miz? Where is R-Truth?
Miz and R-Truth have been on Raw every week.
Where is A-Town down under?
And they've been on SmackDown every week.
What are we doing?
But we're just building.
Like,
we're just spinning our
we can
wheels.
change things. We can change things up.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I don't need to see Cody on 3 different pay-per-views. I don't.
Well,
I don't.
That's not the issue. That is not the issue, though.
But that is the issue because we know he's not losing. So what's the point? That's kind of why I was glad.
Did we not have
when Roman was doing
back-to-back
his
Sami
four
Zayn,
runs.
Chad Gable matches though on PLEs?
Yeah.
We did.
But but why?
Exactly. No, I agree.
With nothing different.
But
So,
Cody,
like,
the point. I get the point with Cody. There was a point.
I
with Cody.
don't because Roman wasn't there and we knew Roman
Because that's
wasn't
the
losing.
point. Cody's doing everything that Roman didn't do. Cody is the opposite of
though,
Roman.
it's not
but
working for me.
We're about
It's
to
not
have.
working.
But here's the thing: Money in the Bank is coming, and I'm actually thinking we're not going to have either men's world title defended, and I think we're just going to have. They might wrestle, but they're going to be non-title. I think Cody will be in that 6-man tag. I don't know what the fuck Damian's going to do. Maybe do a Judgment Day LWO tag match because that's been the feud, which is boring as fuck. But it allows Liv to do Liv shit. Also, like, I don't know. And then you have the Money in the Bank matches, you know?
Good on Adam Page for getting that blank shit thing off. Good on him.
Oh, yeah.
Good on him for that.
Cowboy shit.
Cowboy shit.
I love that.
But we're still not answering the question. Are we starting to feel the fatigue?
Well,
I think
There is
so.
fatigue. I can see it.
yes.
You
No,
can
no.
see
it.
I'm
I think
feeling
there is.
fatigue, but I think
You
starting
can
at
see
Money in
the-
the
you can see the comments.
I'm hoping that at Money in the Bank that changes because in the previous regime, Money in the Bank was if there were a big 5 instead of a big 4, Money in the Bank was the 5th. So I'm hoping that they start kicking it up a notch leading into SummerSlam. I'm not optimistic given where the world championships are at this current moment. It looks like we're pulling an AEW, and this isn't a bad thing. I'm not trying to knock AEW. I'm not trying to toss a stray at AEW for this for y'all marks that listen to this. But
Don't. Tony's gonna come after us. We don't need that.
I'm just saying that this feels like an AEW moment of we have a pay-per-view coming, but we're gonna skip that and build to the next one with the world titles.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel we're at.
I get that. I think.
Which is okay.
But it's not though.
It is.
It's
It
not,
is.
though.
It is.
Okay,
I don't care how many times
so-
I have to keep telling you this. It is.
May I?
because I see.
It makes Money in the Bank feel
Yeah.
pretty insignificant.
UFC. You didn't see Conor fight every pay-per-view. He didn't fight every UFC 201.
In certain ways, it's
No.
not UFC, dog. In
They're
certain
owned by the
ways.
same people.
Sure.
So
I'm
why
cherry
can't we
picking.
run? Why? So,
I'm cherry
you
picking
are cherry.
for the-
That's cherry picking.
But that's how wrestling's been for years, dog. Wrestling's been this way for so long.
So change it, man. I love that Roman wasn't on every show. I loved that Brock wasn't
That's
on
cool.
every show. It's great. It gives A, more stars a chance. B,
It didn't,
if
though.
we're gonna have
Everyone
if we're
spun
gonna have
their
five,
wheels and did nothing until they brought
If-
the World Heavyweight title in. That-
Triple H booking though. Triple H booking.
That's
Under
a cherry
Triple H
pick.
booking. Under Triple H booking, it is. Right? It gives more people an opportunity. We have 13 titles. If we're having 5 matches on cards and we're not putting a title on a pre-show match because
Yeah.
titles are important, allegedly.
Yep.
We can rotate. We can rotate. Bring a tag title in.
That
Take
I'm
the
with you
women's
on.
title out. The
I
women's
agree.
title has been in for 3 pay-per-views. Cody can take a break. Take a pay-per-view off.
Yeah.
Please take a pay-per-view off.
Well,
Please.
he's not going to defend the title, but he'll be at Money in the Bank.
Oh, yeah.
He's their company guy. He makes the money. They need him there if he's going to make money for the company.
I mean,
The reason
if
why
these
Roman
rumor-
could-
if-
the reason why-
if these rumors are true about them not being thrilled about his numbers, if those
rumors
are
are
true,
not true. Otherwise, they would have taken the title off him. Like,
no, they wouldn't.
yes, they would have. Come on,
They're-
dude.
They're not just gonna hot shot it. Go ahead, Yusuf.
Okay, so
I'm not
first
playing
things first.
that
I was
game
actually
with
just reading up on something.
Just saying,
I was just reading up on something that Cody was the highest merch seller in Scotland for this past weekend. But regardless,
Fair enough.
there definitely is a fair bit of fatigue with the whole international market thing because we went from Backlash in France to Saudi Arabia to Scotland, and now we're going to Toronto. Now the difference is, I think Money in the Bank will be a little bit of a refresher with everything going on, and sort of get the energy back up, because Toronto is a market that wrestling fans are already aware of. They know the kind of shit that Toronto does when a show comes around, right? Like, they know the reputation that Toronto has. Now, they've been in Saudi Arabia for years past, obviously, right? However, my caveat to that point, though, is the vibes in Saudi Arabia have definitely changed after Triple H got the pen, because the previous Saudi Arabia shows,
We don't talk about those.
we don't talk about those.
Yeah.
We don't
But
talk
the
about
last
Bruno.
the last year or two, they've been really good, and the crowd is starting to show more. Right, you're starting to see more. Like, you're starting to see that Saudi Arabia crowd come alive. You're starting to understand what their vibe is when shows like that happen. So we're starting to get used to that. Now, it's still, it's still in the works, obviously, but having 3 shows in a row where the crowd, the vibes of the crowd and everything in the market, just from a business perspective, is still foreign. We get through that. We're not really sure what we're expecting, but we're expecting bangers, right? Like, we know how European football fans are, so we're expecting that kind of level, and we got that at France. We got a bits of it at Saudi Arabia with how Middle Eastern fans are, and we got bits and parts of it here in Scotland. But I think going back to Toronto, when they hit Money in the Bank, will be a nice refresher for that whole international market thing, because Toronto never really feels like an international market anymore. Like, I know people still joke about it being like Bizarro Land and all that shit, but it's kind of become like a staple market that whenever they're there, people are expecting a good times. Like, what happens when they go to Chicago, what happens when they go to Philly, when they go to NYC, things like that. It's become a staple market that we as
Big
wrestling
North
fans
American
are used to.
market.
Big North American market.
Big North America market.
So
for sure.
I think it'll be a nice breath of fresh air when we get to Money in the Bank. Now, as far as the title stuff goes, one of the titles will be defended. That is what I feel, because there's always it's Money in the Bank time. There's always some dumb shenanigans that happen with briefcases, and part of me feels it's gonna be the World Heavyweight title, depending on Damian Priest. I could see
Who does he
Cody and
face?
Solo happening. That's the problem.
Who cares?
Ray?
What the hell? Who ca-
he's
Braun
getting cashed in
Breaker.
on.
Screw it.
That's not happening. That is not happening.
No. But then
Maybe
you
Rey
look at the
Mysterio.
other argument. Maybe. But then the other side of the argument is like, okay, if Cody's wrestling, who's he defending it against? Well, primary
Kevin
answer is
Owens,
Solo Sikoa.
Solo.
Right? Because Cody Solo doesn't feel like a SummerSlam main event to me.
No, it does not.
So they'd have to do it elsewhere, or just do it at a Money in the Bank. You have some shenanigans go on there, and then you go about your way. You go about your way. So you get your chicanery, and you're good, right? So yeah, it's really difficult because, like, Money in the Bank always throws a wrench in everything, and I'm glad that it's being considered like one of the big pay-per-views in the company now, or it has been for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know where the world titles go from here, but I do know that as far as market goes, it'll be nice to not be international for the first time in 3 straight months. So
Yeah. Speaking of Money in the Bank, just a fun little question I have to throw out. Any guesses on who wins the matches? I have some. Just early guesses.
I have my choice, but I'm getting some
who's
otherwise.
trying to declare it now.
So far,
They're
I
doing
believe,
qualifying matches.
but
they're declaring.
But they've
shit.
declared
Yeah.
intent. They are doing qualifying matches with the people involving the people that have said I will be in the match. And those people I believe that have declared are Ludwig Kaiser, Jey Uso, and someone from SmackDown. I forget who it was.
I can't remember.
So my pick for the women is Tiffany Stratton still. I'm not sure though, because I was thinking, because lately she's been trying to get buddy with Nia Jax. So I thought that was them trying to tag team to go after Bianca and Jade. That was the only team that I thought had a shot in hell at taking the titles off of Bianca and Jade. But for the men, I was also thinking Sami Zayn being in Toronto, but it doesn't look like he's going to drop the IC title. So
No.
I'm going to go with Jey Uso now.
So Jey Uso is apparently the front runner to win the match from things I've been hearing around the world of the internet as we know it. My pick is Finn Balor.
Oh, you're going with that story, aren't
I'm
you?
going with that. I'm going with that angle. Yeah.
I
I kind of.
I'm so cooled down. I'm so like water.
I'm over it though. Is the
I'm
problem.
over Finn.
Like,
I'm over Finn.
yeah,
like,
I'm over it. Like, God.
I've wanted to root for Finn for years, man. And once they did the match with Roman where he was the demon and he was on the rope and God broke the rope,
Yeah,
so
and
Roman
then,
won, like that was so dumb.
Yeah,
And then all the Judgment Day stuff, like I liked Finn when he first took over the Judgment Day, but then he was supposed to be the leader, but then Rhea became the leader because everyone liked Rhea more, and then Damian like grew out and grew out of that shell, and now is the leader now that Rhea's hurt. Man,
yeah.
it's just like they'd have to
I
do a
don't know
lot
where
of
it
character
goes.
rehabilitation on Finn to convince me
Yeah.
that he's gonna
But
win Money in the Bank.
My pick is Finn for the time being. I'll see how this week goes with Raw and SmackDown and see who starts qualifying. With the women, I'm still very gung-ho on Tiffany Stratton. I think I know the whole her being buddy with Nia Jax thing is putting people into a loop and being like, what's going on here? Are you going for the tag titles or are you not? I think Tiffany wins at Money in the Bank, and that leads to her cashing in at SummerSlam.
On Nia or on Bailey?
On Nia.
Yo, who's facing that though? Tiffany?
Who cares?
I guess Tiffany would be the face because
She would have to, because Nia's
cheer
working
her.
heel for that match.
and Nia's a really
right?
fucking good heel. They're both really good heels, but
Yeah.
Nia's better, I think, to be honest. Tiffany can do both.
I mean, here's the thing, right? You don't necessarily have to have a match, right? It's a Money in the Bank briefcase. It can be the classic case of champ wins, cool. Oh my God, I did
It's a
it.
Damian
and
Drew
then
situation.
It's a Damian Drew situation. You know, it's happened before. Punk and like Edge and Batista when he cashed in, right? Like runs
Batista
in.
wasn't the Money in the Bank holder, just for reference.
Thank you, Tim.
No.
I think we knew that.
I did know that, but I mean when
Okay.
Punk cashed in on anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
thought you
what I
meant when.
meant. No,
I thought you
when
meant when,
Punk, yeah, 'cause
when
Punk
Batista
cashed
got
in
his
back-to-back.
Batista in the bank. My bad.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that.
Oh, when he cashed
but
the
I-
Vince McMahon in the bank.
Yes.
Who?
Who? But I do believe it's gonna be. I have a very strong feel it's gonna be Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think it could be.
So.
I think it's Tiffany or it's Lyra at the moment.
Ooh, that would be a fun pick.
Except
Women, I have
they
no
need,
idea.
They need to get me to. They need to convince us that Lyra's actually like someone to care about because
Yeah.
right now it's not clicking. They're trying.
Bird girl.
Caw-caw!
Yes.
Yeah.
Lyra Valkyria, caw-caw!
Money in the Bank is gonna be
That's
interesting.
that's the Def Rebel intro to that theme. Lyra, caw-caw!
Def Rebel.
Oh yes, we are
Lord.
cooking now, gents.
We're cooking more
Lyra,
than they
caw-caw!
are.
Doot doot doot, woo! Doot doot doot, woo! They
I
need to
hate
put
it
that in her
already.
theme though, by the way, because NXT crowd knows to do it, but the main roster crowd does not know to do the
No.
dun dun dun, woo! Dun dun dun, and it just doesn't hit when they don't
It's
do it.
awkward. Yeah. Yeah. So
they
as
also
far-
need to just
like
fire
Money in the
Def
Bank.
Rebel.
Yeah, too. But that's another story for another time.
True.
As far as Money in the Bank stuff goes, Tiffany and Finn are my picks. I don't. The men's could change because we don't know who the hell could be in that match. I saw something funny on Twitter today from Wrestle Purists, from formerly Backup Hangman on Twitter or X. He was like, "What if Andrade just won the briefcase?"
Now he's the speed champion now.
True.
Oh yeah, right.
He was complaining about not having anything done, and Triple H said, "I got you, King. Speed
funny.
champion by beating Ricochet, who is out the door."
Yep.
But you don't get to bring it on main TV.
Yeah,
No,
that
you
makes
do
no
not.
sense, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
weird.
dumb.
Yeah.
Realistically, a very safe bet is Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very.
I think that
it's
is
a very
the
safe
safest
bet.
bet.
I feel like it's. He deserves that singles title. I don't really want it to be the world title.
It should have been the IC
Not-
title.
Not gonna lie. How we get an IC title on him is beyond me right now, considering
He could have beaten
where
Chad
we're at.
Gable.
He could have, but we don't have that option.
No.
Sorry. Try again. So Jay is a very safe bet. Carmelo is interesting, but not gonna happen.
Mellow in the Bank. I like that.
Mellow is an
Mellow in the
interesting
Bank
one.
was a great promo.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But no.
But also
Not
boneless
happening.
Jey Uso, because Jey Uso started doing crowd promos first.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like
I don't see Braun
but
Breaker getting
Braun
into
Breaker.
the match.
No, we're not there. We're
Ilya?
not there.
We're not
Ilya?
there yet.
Ilya, we're not there.
No,
one's
wait.
there.
Ilya wins, and then announces a cash-in on Gunther
Oh, because he's a
at Bash in
gentleman.
Berlin,
No.
and we get Gunther and Ilya at Bash in Berlin for the World Heavyweight title.
Nah, we're not doing all that.
It's not gonna happen, but that'd be sick. And I've heard a
I
few
mean,
other
a
people
foreign,
pitch that
foreign
one.
market,
I-
foreign market
I-
show with a foreign world champion against a foreign heel. Yeah, you know.
I think
Yeah.
those are a little off the wall for me. I don't think we're there yet with any of
No,
those
I'm
characters.
with you, I'm with
and,
you.
and for Triple H, it's just not a move. So to me, the dark horse guess and really throws everything into a tailspin is the Logan Paul theory.
Yep.
I really love the Logan Paul theory.
I'm with you.
Shout out to Sam Roberts for that. I truly love the idea of him dropping that title at SummerSlam to go cash in at SummerSlam. It's Cleveland. Something exciting's got to happen. Something's got to make the media pop.
Cash in on Cody?
No,
Oh,
absolutely
On
not.
Gunther?
absolutely not. He has to cash in on
Gunther
someone.
might not win.
Gunther is
Yeah, he might not
absolutely
win.
going to win.
No, nothing's set in stone. Also, Logan Paul could cash in.
There's no way
bef-
Damian Priest.
Logan Paul could cash in
There's
before
no way.
the match.
Ew.
There are options.
Logan Paul
There are-
versus Gunther? What is
There
wrong
are
with you?
options. There are options
What is
here. I'm
wrong
not
with
saying
you?
I enjoy the chaotic nature
Yeah.
of the Logan Paul theory. I really do. I said this a couple weeks ago. I love Logan Paul more and more as an entertainer and as a celebrity every single week.
That
I think he's a
I agree.
terrible human being.
Agreed.
I don't love
Say,
the
Yeah.
things that he's done in his past.
He's in the CM
But-
Punk category for
but-
me.
no. Because no.
Yeah.
Totally two different things. and
Two
we can
different
talk
things,
about
but
that
they're
off
both
air.
not great
We can
people
talk
in
about
different ways.
We can talk about that off air.
But I respect
But
both of their talents.
I
That's
do-
exactly what it is.
I think the Impulsive podcast is an incredibly eye-opening thing for people. I think a lot of people have gone on Impulsive and done their best podcast work or their best interview work. And I think for that matter, Logan Paul has done his best hosting work. I think that Logan Paul as a pro wrestler has gone leaps and bounds above any celebrity that we have ever talked about ever.
I agree.
Bad Bunny included, all of them included. I don't think anyone has taken such a natural approach. I mean, the guy's a fucking freak of nature. Like he's really fucking good.
Not for nothing. He's the one guy that I feel like actually gives LA Knight a run for his money on the microphone during a promo.
He's a very good talker. He's
Yeah.
a very good wrestler. He does everything he needs to do, nothing more, nothing less.
That
While
moment with
also
Ricochet.
simultaneously still doing things that he does not have to do.
Yep.
He makes enough money off of all the other shit that he does in life that he does not need to collide bodies with Ricochet at 20 miles an hour.
This is
He
purely
doesn't
love of the
have
game.
to do that.
It's purely love
Yeah.
of the
So
game.
I
Yeah.
truly think that he has earned his keep. He has earned his money in the bank. He has earned his world title.
He's only defended the U.S. title twice, though. He should do that more.
After he wins it, he's going to drop it pretty quick.
Yes.
Also, very okay with that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I love the concept of the Logan Paul theory, and I think we could run it for the beginning of fall. I truly do. I don't think it's going to stay for Netflix, but I think we've got.
Actually, that's a really
I think
good
we've-
idea.
I think we've got
Netflix
I think
makes
we've
it
got a quick
interesting,
hot
yeah.
shot that we can do.
I don't
and
know,
think
man.
I love the whole energy of that. Jay is the safe pick. Logan is the interesting pick.
I would say Solo, if they continue.
Solo
if they
ain't
booked-
winning a goddamn thing.
Hold up for a minute.
Solo is not winning.
I know he's not. I know.
He's not
But
winning
I mean,
shit.
if they
he may not even be in the match. He's supposed to be in a
if
six
they
man.
booked
We're
the
not doing
if
this.
they
We're
booked
not,
if
no.
they booked the Bloodline better at the
Shoulda,
beginning of
coulda,
the
woulda
at,
2 months ago.
dog, if at the beginning of the Bloodline story, right? You could have told me he was gonna win Money in the Bank, and I would have believed it. Fast forward to now, I would tell you hell no. That's what I was trying to say.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda 2 months ago.
Who else?
I don't want to hear that
Absolutely.
shit.
There's got to be somebody
those,
else.
Those are
right?
really our options. Jay is our
Yo,
option.
give AJ Styles the
Jay.
case so he can cash in on the TNA World Title.
That would be funny
That would
as
be
shit,
insane.
Hard
Okay.
pass.
Speaking of TNA, let's jump subjects. NXT this week has a battle royal, 25-man battle royal, which Cody told Trick would comprise of superstars from different locker rooms, and the winner will challenge Trick for his title at NXT Heatwave, I believe, and which Yusuf and I will be at, which is fucking sick.
We will. That'll be fun.
And different locker rooms made people speculate that it involves TNA talent. I
They
have
will
a
probably
bad
have TNA
feeling.
and speed talent.
I have a bad feeling that it's going to only involve a few Raw and SmackDown talents and someone like, I don't know, Karrion Kross is going to win. Someone bad.
There's gonna be, I think it's gonna be like a combination of some speed talent. I think that's
Like Tyler
the Raw and
Bate
SmackDown,
and
the
Andrade.
Raw
Yeah,
and
we're gonna get
SmackDown
like a
talent
small, like a
that'll,
Tyler Bate, like
that'll make a move, and then I don't know, some B player over on
Here's
team.
one.
other third.
Here's
person.
one.
Nick Nemeth would be fun.
What if it's Nakamura?
Yawn.
Remember they said Nakamura. Remember when the draft happened, everyone
Oof.
said Nakamura was going to go down to NXT? What if? And he
And
got
then he
drafted
didn't.
to SmackDown. But
Yeah.
what if he's the guy and he challenges Trick? I'd be down. Just saying. Just saying I'd be down.
That was a real one.
But also, everyone wants Joe Hendry.
That pop would be hysterically loud.
Wow. Oh, you're going to piss off a lot of people right now,
Oh
Emil.
yeah, Joe.
Who?
Joe Hendry, for those of you that don't know, including our boy over here, is probably one of the most over indie wrestlers in the last few years. Made a name for himself in the UK Indies back in the late 2010s, appearing
WCPW.
on Progress. He was a big part. I've seen him live twice. He was
Wow.
a big part of WCPW.
Yep.
Also, super sweet guy. Lovely, lovely man. But he was a big part of WCW and a lot of UK Indies. Started making his way into the Americas and started doing more indies there. He's been a member of the TNA roster now for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years. And he's been like super over for reasons of he's great on the mic, he's great in ring, and his theme songs are the funniest shit in the world.
Is he
just
the singing guy?
That's him.
Yes. The guy
Who's
that
been
did the
popping
Bohemian,
for the last-
he did a Bohemian
for the last
Rhapsody
2 months?
entrance of it, just him singing.
Yeah, he
Okay.
did that.
So
he did.
I know of this guy.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
famously, he did a cover of "Like a Virgin" by Madonna, but it's just called "Like a Hendry," and people eat that shit up like it's crazy.
Yeah.
like the amount of aura that man has. For
He
his
kind of has like a
ridiculous theme songs is
motivational
great.
speaker gimmick as well with it. So it's
Oh,
like
I like
Bo
it's like a Bo Dallas. Yeah, it's a Bo Dallas gimmick. Like
I believe.
It's a
but
Bo
hi-
Dallas gimmick,
his
but, like-
his gimmick literally is like believe in Joe Hendry.
Well, yeah, just believe
Nice.
in Joe Hendry.
Okay.
So
It's
you know,
good.
he's
If Nick Nemeth wasn't in the TNA World Title scene, I would love to see a little Nick Nemeth.
Could also
cameo.
get Matt or Jeff Hardy. Hey,
Could
could
Jeff's
get
not
Moose.
Again-
signed.
We could still
Again.
get Moose.
Again, if they weren't in the world title scene, I would be
We
very.
could
I would think that they do it.
we could
but I
still
don't
get-
think- I don't think they would
We
do
could
it.
get
Jordan
Moose.
Grace was the literal knockouts champion, and she challenged Roxanne. There's no,
Yeah, but
there
TNA
is no
yeah,
limit.
there's
There is
no-
no
there's
limit.
They
limit
care
to
about
it.
their women. They still don't say women. They still say knockouts.
That's
I think
true.
they do that on purpose.
I
But
think they also do. I think they do that for the sake of branding.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they still do that for the
You
sake
can't
of branding.
copyright the word women.
No.
I'm just trying to think of
Guys.
heels in TNA right now. One name that came to mind is Steve Macklin as well.
Josh Alexander or Steve Macklin.
Yo, Josh
If you
Alexander.
wanted a good,
Yo,
if
if
you
you
wanted
had
a
Josh
good
Alexander-
TNA heel, Josh Alexander.
Wait, is he a heel?
He was.
He's a face.
Is he now? Oh, he was a heel
He's
the last
been
time
a-
I remember.
Wait, when was he a heel though?
Oh, it was like years ago.
Oh,
I haven't
no,
caught
he's
up on
been-
much Josh Alexander.
He's been
Has
like the
he?
big
Okay.
since the North broke up. He was like this big baby face champion
Okay,
against
I stopped
Moose.
following. Okay, yeah.
So, but you could have Josh Alexander in there strictly to get a stare down with him and Ethan Page.
Is Matt Cardona available?
No, he's injured. I said
injured.
the same thing.
Hey, he's hurt.
I know. Matt Cardona would have been perfect.
Matt Cardona would have been fun.
The literal
Um,
anti-wrestling heel.
Yeah.
Yep. But like Joe Hendry's a big name that everyone's talking about to potentially show up. Moose would be fun. Steve Macklin, Josh Alexander. Personal pick, just mainly because he's Canadian, and I've also seen him do a lot of indies out here. Speedball Mike Bailey, one of the most underrated talent in the last like 5-6 years, and he's really made a name for himself in TNA. He had a 5-star match with Will Ospreay last year. That was a big part. Like,
Damn.
that was a big talking point. Like TNA having a 5-star match is not often.
Yeah,
and
I
they
think
had
it's
one.
Will
with-
Ospreay.
yeah,
it is Osprey.
and so it is exactly. It is
That makes
Ospreay.
it a
And Bailey-
3-star
and-
match at a minimum.
Yeah, and Bailey's an incredible talent.
Yeah,
on his
you're right.
own. Like I've seen those two wrestle so many times, and it's great. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how many TNA guys we're gonna get. I'm saying like no more than 3.
Maybe
It's
five.
just a matter of which 3. Maybe 5.
Maybe 5.
Maybe, if they're being
Maybe
nice.
5, but maybe we'll get one like. Is ICW still around? Did they make
I
it
think
through
so.
the pandemic?
I think they did.
Maybe we'll go out to one of the other little training grounds.
Well, I
that we
mean, they
have.
did.
We do have a couple.
They did let Shayna Baszler go
True.
to GCW, so maybe get someone from GCW.
That's
Never know.
true. I think the main
No.
the
We
main
can't-
thing
if
is
Matt
TNA.
Cardona isn't if Matt
No.
Cardona isn't the option. they're
Yeah,
not going
exactly.
there.
If Matt Cardona is the option, then who?
Right.
Who from GCW?
Because
would?
everybody would lose their fucking head.
Oh yeah, and I don't think they're going to be bringing anyone from Japan. So
Yeah. Speaking of
Yeah.
Japan, we have
Speaking
some
of Japan.
news brought to you today by our friend and yours, Yusuf. Yusuf,
that's me.
take it away.
So I made a short about this earlier this week regarding Io Sky is going to be wrestling at Marigold's show on July 13th against wrestling prodigy and sensation Utami Hayashishida. It's going to be a dream match that people have been clamoring for but would never get because Io's in WWE. And Utami just happens to be a huge fan of Io. So Rossi Ogawa, the promoter and head of Marigold, had told Utami, look, you are going to have a match at this next show in July, and here's your opponent. And they aired a video package, and it was Io Sky saying, hey, I'm ready to do this. Let's do this. And Utami had no idea that this was going to happen, so her genuine reaction was to start, breaking down and crying that she's going to be wrestling her hero. The interesting thing that I noted in my video, and in my short rather, was that show will be co-headlined with that match, as well as Julia, the most recent big name that is signed, is going to be going to NXT, probably sooner rather than later. Co-headlining that show against Suri, who might be familiar to some NXT fans, formerly as Saray when she was still in the company. But again, another great wrestler in the Japanese wrestling scene and the Joshi scene specifically. Now, that was this past week. Earlier this week as well, Pro Wrestling Noah, the other well-known Japanese wrestling company, for males at least, put out a tweet that said they had an announcement coming up, and that announcement was going to be today, this morning, at the time of this recording. And everyone's like, maybe it's a new show, maybe they're announcing some big thing. I was not expecting this, but I'm happy for it. They announced that also on the 13th of July, they are going to be running their show, Destination, at Budokan Hall, which is one of the greatest venues for wrestling in Japan. Main evented, probably, but maybe not, probably a co-main event, by Ace of Pro Wrestling Noah, Naomichi Marufuji, Japanese wrestling legend, against AJ Styles. That's huge.
Triple H said, "Hey, you're gonna say I quit, but you're gonna get to go to Japan. So shut your fucking face."
Yep.
Yeah. This will be AJ's first
And do
match,
the job.
not in WWE in a Japanese wrestling ring since his
Since Kingdom.
since Kingdom, since what I believe is one of the greatest matches of all time with
Damn,
him and
Tim.
Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah, he
I
knows
know
his
my
stuff.
I know my stuff.
He knows his
stuff.
shit.
Yeah, he knows shit.
AKA,
But,
he's been in
Yeah,
WWE
it's going to
since
be
then.
big.
Yeah.
AJ Styles has proven during his time in New Japan when he was there that he could tango with genuinely some of the best wrestlers in the world. He was able to tangle with Tanahashi so well. His matches with Okada were incredible, with Nakamura, obviously. So for him to go against a man who is well into his 40s as well, Marufuji is no spring chicken. This is, I don't know if this is a dream match that anyone was expecting, but now that it's been announced, we're all kind of like, ooh.
Didn't know I wanted it.
I didn't know I wanted
Yeah.
it,
But
now
we'll take it.
I'm
I'm-
really excited.
I'm almost a little sad because I feel like, Styles has been saying on SmackDown recently, his career is almost up. His days are numbered. Is this the beginning of the AJ Styles farewell tour? Triple H is like, listen, you're
getting
going to
real.
retire in WWE,
Yeah.
but you want to do all these matches. You want to wrestle in Japan one more time. You want to go to TNA one more time. You want to go to this place and that place one more time. We got you. That's how I feel like this is. I don't think it's going to be a short farewell tour, though. I think it's going to be at least a year
this is gonna
plus.
be a while.
But
Well, he signed something recently, so
Yeah, he'll be
he did
around.
within
Sign
the
an
last
extension.
year.
He'll
So
be
he's
around
got
for a
like
couple more years.
And also, when
He's
he's
got-
done, like he'll be around. I think he'll be a trainer in NXT. I think he'll be involved in the
yeah.
PC. Like he's
I
gonna
think
be
that's
around.
what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he wants to do
The
that.
future's
said he
bright
wants
with
to keep
AJ
that.
there. Punk's probably going to get involved in NXT at some point.
That will be big.
That'll be big.
NXT is going to look good soon. But on the other side of Japanese wrestling news, this was also announced earlier today. We mentioned Pro Wrestling Noah. Now we're going to get to good old New Japan Pro Wrestling. The annual G1 Climax is coming up. One of the, if not my favorite, and one of the best wrestling tournaments in the world that goes down every summer. And in years past, they've done a 4-block system rather than their standard 2-block, which kind of made things really hectic and really hard to follow during the summers. Like, there are days I just didn't want to because there were just so many matches I had to keep track of. They've announced that they're going back to a 2-block format with 10 wrestlers in each. Sorry, 10 or 9. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. Okay, so there we go. 20-man format. And they have announced all but 2 of the participants. The other 2 are going to be qualified into the G1 via a play-in round that they're doing in Japan, which I think is pretty cool. But as far as the guys that have been announced so far, here's what we have. In the A block, we have Shota Umino, one of the 3 new musketeers of the company, the soon-to-be IWGP Heavyweight Champion Tetsuya Naito, who is more than likely winning at Forbidden Door. I really need him to win that title back. Also a member of LIJ, Shingo Takagi, Sonata, the Great Okan, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabriel Kidd, Jake Lee, which I think is really cool that Jake Lee is going to be in the G1, and Evil, and then a mystery whoever takes that 10th spot. I don't know who's involved in that right now, but more details on that later. In the B block, and this is what I was really excited about, El Phantasmo, Hiroki Goto, awesome, Yota Tsuji, who I think should be the next, the first of the Musketeers to be the IWGP Heavyweight Champ. That guy's got all the aura in the world, and he's a great wrestler too. God damn. Yuya Uemura, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, formerly Toa Hanare, the current reigning global heavyweight champion David Finlay, Ren Narita, and from AEW, Konosuke Takeshita, who's been lighting it up in AEW over the last year or so. He's had a bit of a slow period in between, but when that man has wrestled a pay-per-view show, he is a guy that everyone's talking about. And I'm very excited to see him light it up in the G1.
Can I just say, it is very, very surreal to see a G1 climax without Okada in it.
It's weird. It's really weird.
And
I was looking at it, and I'm like, where is he? Right.
Is it, like, a lot of big names are not in it that have been in a lot of the recent
Tanahashi's
ones.
gone.
Tanahashi's
Osprey's
not
gone.
There. Yeah.
Okada. Obviously, like, Nakamura hasn't been there for years, but, like,
right.
it's weird that
and they had
Naito
Kenta last year, too, right?
Yeah, and Kenta was in the G1 last year. It's really strange that Naito's the only one left.
Yeah.
But, like,
he's
it's
probably going to win, right? I don't really see anybody else winning that.
I don't.
Maybe.
So
it sounds like Takeshita has a lot of hype behind him. Like, he could, but
here's the thing, though, right? Like, people need to remember this with the G1 Climax. You win the tournament, you're getting the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. Like, it's not you might be on the early card. No. You're the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. And the thing is, I can't remember what the actual ruling is for it, but, well, then again, by the time the G1 happens, which is July, Forbidden Door will be over, so chances are Naito will have the IWGP Heavyweight Championship back. I think the rule is that in the event the IWGP Heavyweight Champion wins the G1, I think he picks his opponent for Wrestle Kingdom. So we don't know about that.
Has that happened?
It never happened.
Okay.
Never in history has the IWGP.
Well, the odds of that
champion
in my
won the
mind
G1.
just skyrocketed. Anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And New Japan's, low key struggling to stay relevant.
Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah,
so
why
they
not
might
shake
want to
things
do
up?
something right.
Why you're not shaking things
why
up?
not
I have the
shake
same
things
guy
up?
win again.
I love Naito, but they need someone
Details.
new to win the damn thing. Well, Okada's not around, so. But there's plenty of names that could win it. Obviously, more talk will be made, I think, after Forbidden Door, because then things will start to make a little more sense. Takeshita being in the tournament is going to be fun. I'm not expecting him to go deep in the tournament, but I think he'll turn a lot of heads in the Japanese wrestling crowd, because he was great when he was in DDT. He's definitely made a lot more fans when he came to the US and started working for AEW. It's just, all right, cool. Realistically, there's maybe like 5 guys I can think of off the top of my head that could win the tournament this year. And we'll just have to see. Because, again, this is a main event shot at their biggest show of the year on the line. So, Nah, that's all the Japan news for today, though.
Love it. All right. We got any more AEW news? Because I don't watch. We know that WWE's been my main squeeze.
Forbidden Door's coming up at the end of the month, obviously. And so far, there have been 7 matches announced. All but one of them are title matches, funny enough.
That's
so far...
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So far, Jeff Cobb actually just announced in an open challenge that he'll take on anyone for Forbidden Door and put up the World Television Championship that New Japan has. John Moxley versus Tetsuya Naito has been announced for the card. Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy has been announced. No titles, obviously, because neither of them holding anything right now. Tony Storm will be taking on Stardom wrestler Mina Shirakawa, which is going to be fun. Mercedes Moné is going to be taking on Stephanie Vaker, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, Dante Martin, and 2 other participants that I believe are going to be New Japan are going to be in a ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship, which was obviously vacated
Jack
after
Perry's
Adam
gonna win.
Copeland. Probably. And then, of course, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. So that's all we know right now.
Poor Swerve.
I can't believe we're pulling the trigger on Ospreay at Forbidden Door.
Swerve really got the... Swerve's going to get the shaft.
He got swerved, bro.
Yeah.
He's going to get the shaft. All that hard work.
He is.
All that effort to get over.
They couldn't have built anybody else to face Strickland in the meantime.
And here comes dipshit Ospreay.
Here comes Billy Two Belts.
Ruin it all.
Billiam Two Belts.
I think part of it is just like the timing and like with All In, and yeah, it sucks for Swerve. I really feel bad for him, but
yeah, man.
So Swerve doesn't deserve that All In main event spot?
He does.
I think
he does.
So what's the match at All In then? It's Ospreay and who?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean,
well, it's gonna be
is
the
it
winner of
Ospreay,
the
MJF? Like, what do they do?
No, it's gonna be whoever wins the Owen.
Well, it will not be MJF.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna be
the
winning
Owen-
every match.
it's gonna be MJF and Cole.
Yeah. So the Owen makes it interesting because right now, they've announced that the winner of the Owen Hart Invitational tournament thing will get an AEW World Title match at All In. There's only 3 men that have been announced for that so far. That have been Pac, Bryan Danielson, and Shingo Takagi. Actually, has also been announced for that.
Well, we know it's not Pac.
Yo,
we know it's not Pac.
Wait, Danielson's on like a little retirement run.
yeah,
too.
it's Danielson
Danielson's been
Ospreay.
talking
I
about
think
how
it's
I'm running
Danielson.
out of-
I think they're
I'm
going to
running
run
out of
Danielson
time.
Ospreay again.
Yep.
Danielson hasn't won that title yet, has
Nope.
he?
God damn it.
Good for
What
him.
if they had Okada win it? Just fuck around and have Okada Ospreay. Why not? You know what I mean?
Waste of time. What a waste of time that would be
Oh, that would be great.
for everybody involved. Everyone would just go, "Why? We saw this 10 years ago
I'm dead.
or 8 years ago. Whenever we saw this, we saw this."
Yeah, right.
But so I've been out of a lot of wrestling, and while Yusuf collects himself over there, my big thing about AEW right now is I was very much stuck on, and I wanted to kind of talk about this on a microphone. I wanted to talk about the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Oh yeah,
which happened
yeah.
probably about
Floor is
3 weeks ago at this point. Just because that shit is still living rent free, and yet somehow it doesn't even really matter. They hung a man.
They did.
How do you hang a man by his ankle? Super and kick him in the face.
At least they didn't
With
crucify a man
thumbtack boots.
like Big Boss Man.
How do you do all that and it doesn't matter by the end of the week?
It's wild. Only in that situation.
Only in AEW could that happen.
Also,
That
I
is-
will say it was funny when they were playing the entrance music, and then Nicholas or Matthew were like, one of the Jacksons were like,
Turn that shit
"We
off.
can't afford this. We can't afford this.
that.
You can't afford it. You contract half of the fucking active wrestlers on the planet for your show. What do you mean you can't afford it?"
So to make the long story less long, that was the craziest shit I've ever seen. And I've watched like the spots in the death matches and all that. I've seen that.
Yeah.
And just to actually put that on TV, on a national TV like that,
Absolutely
even if
wild.
it's on a pay-per-view, in 2024 is crazy. Good on Jack Perry for like Jack Perry ate his shit. I'm gonna give Jack Perry all his credit. He ate his shit.
did.
He took his
He did.
He took his
Took his
flame,
lashings.
He took his fire. He took his fire, literally. He took his heat. Like he got set on fire by somebody who probably deserved to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
Like if you look at all the things, Darby Allin is always there. He's the pillar, right? Like that's Darby Allin. We know he's, if anyone is the heart and soul of that company as much as MJF, it's Darby Allin.
That's fair.
So for somebody to really fuck up the company in such a way like Perry did, for somebody, for Darby to be the one to do that to him, super cathartic look for the company, and kind of gives all of the and as you know, the fire extinguishing him away, it kind of extinguishes all of the shit.
Yep, agreed.
As AEW continues, I said it a couple weeks ago. Even though I'm not following up, it does seem like AEW is kind of going back to really what made them good, right? Like, while we may not love all the stories, while all the stories don't get to flesh out, while there may be 70,000 wrestlers on the roster, and while there may be 70,000 titles for each of the wrestlers to hold, they're being the alternative right now.
They are.
They really are being the alternative. They're giving you kind of what you want if you just want some damn good wrestling. Sometimes it's almost to the point where it's ridiculous. Like, I think part of that Ospreay Bryan match was a little bit ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Just stay down. Like,
it was.
Somebody got to get a 3 eventually. But watching AEW now, it doesn't feel like how it felt a year ago when all the drama was in there. It feels a little bit more bare bones, and I'm kind of here for it. They rebranded their logos. They kind of reset themselves. They let Dynasty kind of really reset them.
Yeah, agreed.
I felt like Dynasty, there was a big party for Dynasty. Dynasty really felt like this moment where they could reconnect to whatever they needed to do, right? They kind of, and they're making stars. Brian Danielson is always going to be a star.
Absolutely.
Ospreay is always going to be a star. Orange Cassidy is always going to be a star. MJF is carrying the shit on his back, but his back doesn't look quite as crooked.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not the biggest AEW fan, but I am all for the success and the prosperity of the wrestling industry as a whole.
It makes everything better. There's a reason why we had to get WrestleMania 40.
There is.
Whether you like it or not, AEW is part of that reason.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a reason why we had to get to the build to 40.
If there was no AEW, we would not have the
40
current.
Would not have been.
We would
what
not
it
have the
was.
current iteration of Cody Rhodes. We would not have. Arguably, we probably wouldn't have Roman Reigns. There'd probably be some different shit that would have happened in terms of that. Like, there's so many different things that could have happened. But because of this, we got one of the greatest stories in wrestling history, one of the greatest moments in wrestling history.
We've gotten some of the greatest backstage media from this. We had the Bucks fight, we had the CM Punk fight, we had all of that. We were all glued to our internet from that point for news and maybe things that we shouldn't have been glued to, but we were talking about it.
Yeah.
So all the props to AEW for kind of realizing their mission and kind of going back to it.
Yeah.
And I truly feel like they're an alternative right now. Do I need the alternative? No, WWE's doing fine right now. Do I know that I can go there anytime I want and maybe probably not hate it? Yeah.
Love it.
Yes, I can.
Well, now that Yusuf is back, I did want to bring back something that we used to do, and that's called The Best in Wrestling, where we talk about our favorite thing in wrestling of the week.
I've missed this.
I'm not gonna assume what Emil's was, but that seemed like a pretty good option. But I'll go first in case he wants to offer.
That wasn't this week though.
Great. Let's offer something different for you then. But I'll go first real quick. We had a story break this week, and I posted about it on the TikTok page. You can follow us at Vacant Wrestling on TikTok. I've been posting often. Yusuf's posted a couple of things. We're gonna try and be as active as possible on there, as well as on YouTube with YouTube Shorts as well. But Sexy Red, the rapper and the host of NXT Battleground from the UFC Apex, didn't do a whole lot of hosting. And you might be wondering why. Well, the WWE doesn't know why either, or at least they didn't. But on Saturday morning, the previous Saturday, what was the date on that? I don't even remember. But anyway, a week from yesterday.
That would be 6/8.
Yeah, 6/8. Thank you. So on June 8th, Sexy Red was at the airport, traveling at Newark Liberty International Airport, and she was arrested for assault, I believe. Or no, disorderly conduct for a fight in which a group of her entourage and another large group of people got in a fight over an unauthorized photograph. So she comes in with a whole stanchion that's like one of those things, like, you know, when you're in a line and they have the fabric like divider line so you can weave around a line. So she grabbed a whole ass pole that has one of those in there to like hook onto another one to be a barrier, and she's about to hit somebody with it on camera. And she gets arrested. The story breaks by TMZ that she gets arrested breaks. She denies that she got arrested, and then TMZ drops the surveillance footage of her wearing this bright orange bonnet and then release a picture of her with that same bonnet on. So she's completely caught. And then she goes on her Instagram story later on and says, finally out, just got out. And then she offers to pay for whoever's phone she messed up during this altercation. So WWE and NXT apparently had no idea this happened, and they let her go and do NXT stuff. But I have a feeling that they did know she did that, because if they billed her as the host, she should have been there in between every single match doing something. She was there shaking ass with Lola Vice once, and then I think she hyped up Trick before his title match. And I think that's all we saw of her that night. I just find it absolutely hilarious that first she denied it, then they dropped the footage, so she's like, ah shit, can't deny it now. Then she offers to fix someone's phone, admits she gets out of jail, and then WWE's like, we had no idea. Dog, you had absolutely every clue, and I don't even care. That's just hilarious. That's mine. Sexy Red getting arrested. That's my best in wrestling this week, which is really sad because this is a good week of wrestling. We had a good pay-per-view, but I found it hilarious. Who wants to go next?
Well, I said it earlier. My best in wrestling is still Charles Robinson. We know it's you, bro. We know it's you. It's just a mask. You're still out of here. Get out. Popped me. Really popped me. I guess we're here for jokes this week. So
yeah. I think my best in wrestling for this week, I could be a bias and just say it's news that Marufuji is going to be facing Styles, which I actually do have an update about that I'm going to bring up in a second. But I think my best in wrestling is Cody Rhodes on Twitter announcing that he is going to be donating a wrestling ring to SGW Soft Ground Wrestling Uganda, which, if you don't know, and I made a little short about this not too long ago, is a small independent wrestling school and promotion based out in Uganda that has kind of taken the world by storm over the last year on social media with how they do things, and it's been really cool to see how much they've grown, how into it that wrestlers in the UK and the US have been. Jordan Grace donated some money to the promotion. Will Ospreay donated, I believe, $2,000 and was working on getting a ring built for them. But now Cody Rhodes has announced that a ring is going to be built in Uganda, at home, so they don't have to worry about getting it shipped or anything. And I think it's really cool. Also, Mason Mansour showed up, just surprised them back in April of this year, and had a feud with their top heel, Lord White, and then announced that they were doing a t-shirt fundraiser where proceeds are going to be going to SGW. And that, I think, warms my heart. To see that a small promotion in somewhere like Central Africa is getting that much attention. And it's really cool because we're always so focused on Japan or the UK scene or the US scene and, things like that. And there's a lot of great wrestlers that are coming from other countries outside of that scene. Africa wasn't really a country I think a lot of us expected, but the more we're starting to see of it, the more we're like, oh, it's really cool to see just how into that they are, what kind of market it is out there for something so small, yet something so passionate, and just seeing how other wrestlers are reacting to it has been really cool. So that's my best in wrestling for the week.
Hell yeah. Well, I think other than that, I think we have a podcast, boys.
I think we do. I do have an update on the Marufuji thing. I just do want to bring up because this broke like 10 minutes ago.
Oh.
So this broke maybe about an hour ago. So while in the middle of us recording the pod. So per Tokyo Sports, they're actually reporting that apparently, I guess AJ Styles had talked to WWE about doing another match in Japan. And they said, okay, we don't think we're going to swing New Japan, but we can swing with Noah, obviously. And AJ was the one that got to choose his opponent. So, yeah, who better than to choose, the ace of that company?
Hey.
The John Cena of Noah, the Okada of Noah, if you will, Naomichi Marufuji, which is cool that AJ's got, I mean, of course, it's AJ Styles. He's got the power to have his say in whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
But it's cool that they're kind of letting him be like, all right, yeah, what do you want? We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Gotta love the wrestling industry in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole lot of
Yeah,
shit
that's
that's just
awesome.
curveballs left and right.
Yeah.
But y'all, that's about gonna do it for this week's episode of the Vacant Wrestling Podcast. I think it's safe to say, guys, we're fucking back. We're fucking back. I'm down. Wrestling is cool again. It's actually like cooler than it's ever been. Like, I have people that don't even know about wrestling coming up to me asking about it. It's great. But with that being said, y'all, there's a truck outside my apartment beeping very loudly.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, now that that's out of the way, we really, really appreciate it, y'all. Like I said, we're on TikTok now as well. Go ahead and drop a follow there. I want to get being able to go live on there as soon as possible. Maybe get some live watch-alongs of Raw, SmackDown, PLEs going. I think that'd be a shit ton of fun. So hit that follow button over there on TikTok at Vacant Wrestling. If you're not already subscribed on the YouTube page, go find us, Vacant Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Go find us, podcast video format every Monday, and audio on Apple Music, Spotify, and everywhere else you might get your podcasts. But other than that, I think that's about it, boys. We'll see y'all on the next one.